Yeah, some people like me are just destined to fuck up everything that we mess with. If I was made as a joke, I don't get it. Missed the call, but I guess I got the message. Usually I fall too hard, I'm addicted to pain. And if the world's on fire, I'll be swimming in flames, yeah. Cause I'm too impatient to wait for change. I know I'm far from perfect, oh yeah. But I know I can make it work, I know I can make it work. I'm crazy, everybody knows my name, but I don't even know my name. Going insane, putting heavy on my brain, and I don't even know my name. It's a story about a ID crisis. Used to think my only future was the night shift. Brain on ADHD, autopilot. And through it all somehow I kept smiling. I can never find the right words to say. Only a handful of family ever sees my face. But I'm only human, don't we all make mistakes? I'm drowning in my head again, and my thoughts don't want me to win. They show compassion made of plastic, and I don't wanna be another tragedy, but I'd rather be dead than a skeleton dreaming about the things that he couldn't be. Cause I'm too impatient to wait for dreams.
The sun turns to ice. Close your eyes, forget mine. Black clouds cry as atoms collide. Death eats life, creep inside. I know you.
Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Hi. Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. It's Saturday. Thank God it's Saturday. Jesus Christ. I'm sure many of you, it's like a biggest relief of all time, isn't it? Right? You're welcome. You're welcome, Sir Bartholomew. You're absolutely welcome for that. Okay. Zero problem there. All right. Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. It's Saturday. Aren't you all excited? I mean, for those who don't have to work. Okay. Yeah, Monday morning cornerback show. There you go. All right. We're going to do some Monday morning cornerbacking, I guess you could say. All right, guys. Hi. Hello. Good luck, Cody. Enjoy your ass surgery, I guess. Hello, Minor Bird. Minor Bird. You know what? Let me see who all's here. I see some questions that I will respond to as I see them as I go through these. So much to talk about today, guys. So much to talk about today. Let's see who we got here. First person we have that showed up was SoCal. Hello, SoCal. Hello, SoCal. So glad to see you here, SoCal. Yes, SoCal. I believe I forgot to update the time on YouTube. I did make an announcement in the Discord saying that I would be late, but I think I forgot to update YouTube. All right. So that was my fault. I apologize, SoCal. Please forgive me, my dear, dear child. Okay. Um, okay. Future of Earth, Future of Earth. Okay. Hello, Future of Earth. Um, so Future of Earth, I am not going to, you know what? No, 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 no. I'm not even gonna address that right now. I'll talk about that later. SoCal, hello, how dare you say teached, okay? Hello, Dex Stewart. So glad you're here, Dex Stewart. So glad you're here, Dex Stewart. As always, a classic, classic, classic. Body Swap. Thank you, Body Swap, for attempting to update SoCal. I don't know if SoCal can read though. SoCal's a little bit, you know, we let SoCal take time when having to process things. Let's put it that way. Okay. So thank you, Body Swap, for the help. Hello, Body Swap. By the way, you get a boop. Boop. Okay, you get a boop for that. Um, Druzilla's here. Hello, Druzilla. Hello, Druzilla. So glad you're here, Druzilla. So glad you're here. As always, Druzilla. Love having you around, Druzilla. Okay, love having you around, Brazil. You know it. Okay, Gwen, as always, Gwen, love having you here. As always, Gwen, a classic at this point, a classic. I'm allowed to be mean to SoCal, Drazilla. I'm allowed to be mean to SoCal. Okay. Hello, JDH. I love it. What is that? A crab, or is that like a face hugger from Alien? What is that? Hello, JDH. So glad you're here. So glad you're here. All right. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. Outer Signals here. Hello, Outer Signal. So glad you're here. By the way, guys, the weather is lovely outside. The weather is lovely outside. I have the window wide open. Okay, I have the window wide open. It's great. It's great. There's air coming in. There's a little chipmunk right outside that keeps, I don't know, taking nuts or whatever it's doing out there. Did I just mess it up? I don't know. Screw it. All right. So, great, beautiful day here in Ohio. Hello, Alyssa. So glad you're here. Oh, no, Sir Bartholomew. Sorry. Sir Bartholomew. So glad you're here. Yeah, the Siambanese Liberation Army. They did some interesting things. Like, they would do like these, how do I phrase it? Like, they'd make up these stories and then they would act. They're interesting. Okay. Okay. Hello, JDH. I love that cat. That cat is great. It reminds me, weird as well. It reminds me of Mugenics, which is a game I've been playing. Love it. Okay, Alyssa, hello, Alyssa. So glad you're here, Alyssa. So glad you're here. As always, Alyssa, one of the founders of the program, one might say. LaCroix, hello, so Claw. You did not hear me skipping a track, LaCroix. How dare you? I did skip a track because it was a sad song, and I ain't. Wait, no, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna play sad songs today. Okay, no sad songs. All right, no sad songs. Dexter, I didn't know you were from New York. Well, I'm glad you're here, Dexter. I'm glad you're here. Doug is here. Doug, as always, one of the best. One of the best. Okay, LaCroix. I love the little car there. You know what? Minerberg, hello, Bird. So here we go, guys. Yes, Minor Bird asks, "Is tonight the drunken party?" Maybe. All right, maybe. Okay. If we make $35 during the stream, because you know I'm a greedy POS. If we make $35 during the stream, we will have a Jester After Dark tonight. Okay. Which shouldn't be too hard. That's not that bad, actually. So how dare you, Sir Bartholomew? Okay, so if you see if I make $35, so that's the goal, that we get to $35. and then if we get to $35, I've already gotten all the equipment on. Thank you guys. I've gotten all the equipment on. I've got all the makeup on. I kind of messed up the makeup on this side. So because we don't have really any incentives today, I guess you could say, we're gonna focus on trying to get $35, which would actually be kind of near the high end of what I normally get, I guess, today. So if we can do that, then yes, we'll have a Jester After Dark stream later. Okay. So, all right. SoCal, Weirdomorphous Blob, fantastic. 99 red balloons, Ihren Weg zum Horizont. Okay. Boop 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 boo. Drusilla, hi SoCal, Sir Bartholomew. Am I miss anyone? Did I miss anyone? Minerberg, are you sinking without us? Oh, happy birthday, Minerbird. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, minor bird. Unlike those major birds, like an albatross is a major bird, but you know, like a chickadee would be a minor bird. All right. I guess is that the I'm gonna make a joke about Epstein with speaking of minor birds. Anyway, Cody, a pizza that giant. Hello, hello, hello. Did I miss anyone? Dear God, I feel like I'm missing everyone. What the hell's going on? Hello, Mr. King K. So glad you're here. You're welcome, Mr. King K. You're welcome. All right. Come on. Anyone else I'm missing? Ice. Hello, Ice. Thank you for complimenting the makeup. Okay. We're good to go. We're good to go. All right, we're good to go. Oh my God, my leg. Oh my God, my goddamn leg. Okay, 1 second. I just messed up the Jesus. Oh my God, thank you, Global. Really. We're already, guys, we've already gotten $30. Jesus Christ. Thank you so much, Global. Really. Thank you so much, Global, for that $20 donation. Global has been in the streams for a long time. Global is an established member. Global used to kind of hang out with me before the stream started for a while. Saying things in the chat and stuff. Love having Global. Thank you, Global, very much for that $20 dono. Okay. Okay. No, SoCal, that would be $30 because Revolutionary is 10 and Global sent 20. So that is 30. All right. Okay. So, all right. So thank you guys so much. All right. You're right. I'm damn right. I'm making you all pay for my beer. Okay. You're damn right I'm making you all pay for my beer. Hello, elevator lady. Hello, elevator lady. So glad you're here. By the way, so guys, we normally, you are again, SoCal, Ron again. Geez, SoCal, what's wrong with you today? Okay, what's wrong with you today? Jesus. Okay, so guys, if anyone never been to an After Dark stream before, if anyone has not been in an After Dark stream before, they typically start. Oh my God, LaCroix, thank you so much. Really, LaCroix just donated 5. Dear God, guys, you're gonna make me cry. Literally, don't make me cry. You're gonna ruin my makeup. Okay, you're gonna ruin my makeup. Okay, how dare you all? All right. Hello, Louise. So glad you're here. Okay, Jesus Christ. Yeah, guys. So we're gonna do an After Dark now. Obviously. Oh God, Alyssa, thank you. Alyssa says, "See how I'm contributing? How dare you, Outer Signal?" Yes, we'll do an After Dark. Okay. So we've gotten it. We got it. We're gonna do an After Dark. Thank you, Louise. So After Darks, guys. When we do After Darks, you've tossed enough. You think so? A little later, I thought it was kind of asymmetrical, but thank you for saying. The After Dark stream will typically start between 6:30 and 7:30, and then it'll go for a few hours. And I typically will be consuming some apple juice. Let's call it that. Well, I'll be drinking some apple juice. I might act weird. Anyway, and we'll probably listen to some music because that's what we do. We all share a bunch of music. Thank you, Alyssa. You're the best. Okay, we typically share music from all around the world. We also will sometimes watch like a short horror thing, or watch some comedy, or typically there's like a little thing at the beginning where we do something kind of entertaining, and then we listen to music. Okay, and just chat about shit. All right. Yes, we'll be doing some adult hydration. Let's put it that way. All right. So, okay. Apple juice. So there we go. So, yay, we're going to do a Jester After Dark tonight. Yay. It's been a long time. It's, oh my God, Meowzord. Dear God, thank you so much. Premium apple juice fun. Fine, I'll upgrade my apple juice now, Meowzord. Thank you. Okay, God, guys, you're the best, really. Okay, I don't deserve. Okay, well, okay. Anyway, thank you. We love sad clowns here. Call him Pierrot. How dare you, look? I'm not a sad clown. I'm a very happy clown. Okay, I'm so happy. All right, you guys. So, yes, save your champagne, and you can come for your we can have a little birthday party for you tonight, Minor Bird. Okay. All right, guys. So, God, there you go, Pizza That Giant. To quote a teacher from a favorite video game of mine, do the assignment and be quiet. I'll be here drinking my tea. Exactly. Oh, outer signal. Exactly, outer signal. Dear God, guys, thank you. Really. You have no idea. Just thank you. I don't wanna get emotional, but thank you guys. Okay, moving on. So anyway, I'm a happy clown. I mean, jester. I'm not a clown. How dare anyone ever say I was a clown? Okay, guys. Hello, Mad Sci Guy. All right. So, guys, we have a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. And obviously, look, I'm wearing all the makeup and shit. It's a Saturday. Might as well celebrate. It's beautiful outside. It's great. JDH, did you survive the tornado yesterday? For the people in America, how dare you, future of Earth? Okay. I'm a jester, not a clown, all right? Anyway, beautiful day today. A lot of people yesterday in the United States had to deal with tornadoes, so I hope everyone out there is okay. I hope everyone out there is okay. I know JDH was like almost died. JDH was like right in the line of a tornado and almost perished. Okay. Damn right, future of Earth. Okay. And almost perished in a horrible accident. Okay. Anyway, okay, I'm kind of exaggerating. I don't know if that actually is what happened, but there are a lot. Okay, good. But this is tornado season is here. There's now tornadoes everywhere. I partially live in Tornado Alley. I know some other people in here. Yeah, listen, Missouri's in Tornado Alley. So just be careful out there. For those that live in America, you guys know, especially if you live in the central of the country, center of the country and in the South, you know, you can tell when the weather is getting there. Okay. And like just looking outside right now, I'm like, ooh, tornado season is here. Okay. So just be aware. I think tornadoes are fascinating. I'm upset. Really? Ooh, future of Earth. Okay. If the hotter it is outside, the more energy there is in the environment around this time, which means the more possibility of a tornado. Just be aware, okay? I think tornadoes are super cool. It's one of my things I want. One of the things on my bucket list. I want to do a tornado chase someday, but just be careful. All right, there you go, elevator lady. Okay, be safe, guys. Hide in your tub or whatever you're taught to do. Right. So if there is a tornado, I'm sorry. I know I'm doing the teacher bit, but some people literally don't know what to do about a tornado. I was at a friend's house in Indiana, and there was a tornado warning, and their family just didn't care. They're like, who cares? I'm like, shouldn't you be like, there's some places you should be going right now. Anyway, guys, yeah. So, but by the way, so if there's a tornado, if you have a basement, go to the basement. If there isn't a tornado, okay. If you don't have a basement, excuse me, if you don't have a basement, go into the interior-most room of your house, preferably a room with lots of plumbing in it. Okay. Anyway, that's it. Yes, but that is extremely rare, JDH. It is very rare for tornado chasers to be killed. That's what made that event. You're talking about Michael Sedaris, or what's some Sedaris guy, the storm chaser. That is extremely rare for storm chasers to be killed by tornadoes. I think it's only happened like once or twice. So, but anyway, okay. But still, don't do it unless you know what you're doing, of course. Okay, guys. All right, you guys. So I go to my porch. Hey, I know, Alyssa. I'm sure you do, right? I'm sure you do go to your porch. If there isn't a tornado, go to the basement. How dare you, Drizella? All right. Okay. Okay. Anyway, guys. So that's it. Moving on. We have a lot to talk about today. A lot of good news here. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Right. I don't blame you, Alyssa. We are storm chasing. I agree, elevator lady. If I get rich and famous, we're all gonna go storm chasing together. Okay, let's do that. Not yesterday, Minor Bird. A storm chaser died a while back. Okay. Yes, but it's thrilling, JDH. I want to do it because it's thrilling. Okay. All right. All right. So anyway, we have a lot to talk about. Okay. Okay. All right. So one of the things that amuses me, folks, when it comes to tornadoes is that I will watch like people who are not people, will you live stream? I gladly do that. If I had the equipment, I would literally do that, Laquabwa. I would live stream a tornado chase if I had the equipment to do it. Okay, absolutely. Anyway, so just because it's thrilling. It's kind of fun. It plays with my ADHD brain. You exactly, elevator lady. The chaos of a tornado is so wonderful for people like us that have ADHD. Okay. All right, yeah, the Twist X crew, Alyssa, who was killed in the guys, I know way too much about tornadoes. What was that name of that tornado? I think, well, maybe I don't. I did know the name of that tornado. The wasn't the Tri-State tornado. That was a different one. The really big one that killed several storm chasers. Anyway, okay. So maybe we'll watch tornado videos one day. Well, maybe we'll watch tornado videos one day. All right. So, a few things to talk about, guys. A few things to talk about. Of course. Well, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I'm going to take a drink of this. I need some more coffee. Ugh. Not you're trying not to meet the Lollipop Guild. That's true. That is true. You live in Indiana, future of Earth. Okay, you know then. You know that there's a lot of tornadoes around us. Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. So, future of Earth, who lives in Indiana, says I used to go on my porch and watch thunderstorm as a kid. The sky is so satisfying. I do the exact same thing. I love watching thunderstorms. And even though I'm telling people to be safe around tornadoes, I often am not safe around tornadoes. But anyway, okay. All right, guys. So here we go. Right, let's get into it. Few news items. Nothing, nothing too depressing. Just very depressing, but not too depressing. First of all, oh, well, we're not going to start with that one. I didn't mean to click on that one first. Okay, here we go. We got this one first. This is going to be good, guys. This is going to be great. I'm sure you're all going to be happy with this. So a new research article came out, all right, showing that you're absolutely right, Mithril. If we didn't make houses of cardboard, I agree. But a lot of people in the path of tornadoes don't have much money, and it's unfortunate that our government lets them. Anyway, it's okay. It died. All right. So, guys, here is a news story. Rich Rain is here. Hello, Rich Rain. So glad you're here. Okay. Here is the story, guys, from today. All right. The planet is heating much faster than scientists thought it was. Yay, guys. Isn't that exciting? Don't we love that? I love being on the verge of death. So, okay, great. So, new science came out today. Yeah, correct, Meowsword. It was thought that the temperature was rising at about, let me read it to you guys. Okay. Humanity is heating the planet faster than before, right? A study has found. Climate breakdown is occurring more rapidly with the heating rate almost doubling. Isn't that great? Weird Amorphous Blob, why are you so sad, Weird Amorphous Blob? What's wrong with you, okay? Nothing bad here. All right. With the heating rate almost doubling, according to research that excludes the effect of natural factors behind the latest scorching temperatures. Isn't that great? It found global heating accelerated from a steady rate of less than 0.2 centigrade per year, per decade between 1970 and 2015 to 0.35 per decade over the past 10 years. The rate is higher than scientists have seen since they started systematically taking the Earth's temperature in 1880. Yay. If the warming rate of the past 10 years continues, it would lead to a term exceedance of 1.5 centigrade, centigrades, this is Celsius, limit of the Paris Agreement before 2030. So, guys, we are basically, right now, we're set to reach the tipping point in 2030. So that's not far away. Don't worry, guys. We don't have to suffer through the news much longer, right? We're all just going to die. It'll be fine. No problem. Okay, obviously it won't happen just like that. It won't be like everyone dies in the 30th. But great. Yeah, so guys, nothing to worry about. Don't worry, guys. Trump has it handled. He's fighting the big threat right now. He's fighting the biggest threat out there, which is, Iran, I guess, or something. I don't know. That's the big threat, guys. It's not climate change. Trans people, right? They're a much bigger threat, guys. Trans people are a much bigger threat than climate change, right? Trans people, men going into women's bathrooms, that's what conservatives call it, right? Immigrants definitely more dangerous than climate change. So don't worry. We're all not, there you go, Weird Amorphous Blob. So don't worry, guys. Nothing bad will happen. Okay. Yeah, right. Exactly. Body swap. Why not? That's not a problem. Why don't we just get a giant global air conditioner? Right? I mean, that would fix everything. Right? By the way, I feel bad even joking about trans people because of how much they're despised in a lot of this country. So I hope we all know I'm joking. Trans people are human beings, and they are a very small portion of the population, and they just want to exist. And okay, whatever. And trans men are men, and trans women are women. Okay, we got that, right? Moving on. Anyway, so there we go. Great fun. Yeah, Meowsord, don't worry, Meowsord. You're going to be in Spain, but don't worry, right? I'm sure climate change won't affect you there. even though it will. Okay, so don't worry, even if you run from America, you'll still die. Okay, I'm sorry, not die. That sounds bad. Okay, I mean, maybe eventually, but all right. Um, all right. So, all right. We know and support of trans. Excellent, excellent. Okay, guys. Yeah, LaQuad just put a giant ice cube in the ocean every summer to stop climate change. Okay, you're going to Thailand. Oh, I'm sorry, Meowzord. I thought you were going to Spain. Hey, great, Meowzord. Thailand won't be affected at all by climate change, I'm sure. Okay, except it will horrifically. All right. All right. So there, just a little side note there. Um, there is now so just to show you because I know a lot of people don't care about science. There is now pretty widespread, if not quite universal, agreement that there has been a detectable acceleration in warming in the recent years. All right. Uh, However, it remains unclear how much of the additional warming over the past decade, in particular, is a forced response versus unforced variability. Regardless of the fact, guys, it's still increasing, which is great. Which is great. And I will say, I am really sick of people, guys, saying, like, I am really sick of it. They're the the I'm fine. Jesus, I'm just dying. Don't worry. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. I am very sick of like the propaganda of the oil and gas and coal industry and all this other shit out there seeping into the mainstream where I keep hearing people say things like, oh, well, don't worry. Like GM is building more electric cars now. Don't worry. There's more and more technology out there to fight climate change. Yeah, those are all distractions. Okay, those are all like distractions, and we're still in a apocalyptic level event essentially over a long period of time it will be. So don't think that okay, we can rest on our laurels because things are slightly improving when it's a massive disaster, okay? When they're not slightly improving, okay? And like all this propaganda by big companies saying, "Look, we're doing electric cars and shit. We're doing electric cars and shit." Why do you think they're doing that? Do you think it's because they care about climate change, or do you think it's because it's a marketing move? Because people know the effect it's having. All right. So please, there you go. There you go. There's a good Thatcherite. We got a good Thatcherite in chat here, Mithril. CEO of Big Coal. I'm writing to protest about your biased coverage of global temperature adjustment. Right? Okay. So can we just like understand? Do we know, guys, that yeah, JDH. We do know that plastic is made from fuel, right? Or it's made from oil. Am I right about that? I'm right about that, right? Aren't most kinds of plastics made from fossil fuels? So it's more than just we need to deal with the oil and shit, okay? There's a ton of things we aren't even touching. All right? Okay. Anyway, that's not yeah, that is true, Doug. That is absolutely true. You're right, Drizilla. It depends on the plastic, but there are a lot of plastics that are made from fossil fuels. So Doug says some of the rivers in Ohio are flammable. That is not a joke, by the way. Doug knows his shit. Let me show you a picture. You know I'm from Ohio. River on fire in Ohio. River on fire. This is where I live. Don't you love it? River on fire, Ohio. Okay. Here you go. This is the Cuyahoga River. Burning because it's so polluted. This happened in 1969. It's gotten a little bit better, but not that much. The whole river goddamn caught on fire because it's so polluted that it literally a river caught on fire. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? So this is good for us. This is good. No problem. No problem with the environment. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Nothing to worry about. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're just dismantling the EPA. We're just dismantling the EPA. We're just dismantling all the regulations that try to stop these things. We're letting the corporations run wild. No problem there. I know, Drizilla, right? Don't ask me, Drizilla. I can't help it. I was born here. I'm too poor to move elsewhere. Okay. Gwen, thank you. I wish I had some grape juice right now. Okay. Oh, absolutely, Mithril. But you can guess, Mithril says those fires also produce incredibly dangerous. Those fires also produce incredibly dangerous chemicals as they burn. Shocking, right, Mithril? And by the way, you can guess no one was paid for any of the health damage that was done. Okay, there was No one was paid for the damage done to their health. Okay, virtual violence. You're right. They're putting chemicals in the water, making the frickin' jesters gay. You're right. I think that's why I'm gay. I live in Ohio. I must have had too much of the water. I'm joking. Okay, so all right, isn't that great? Yep. Alex Jones must have been right. Yep. Oh, come on, sir. Okay, guys. Weird Amorphous Blob. Can I just mention something, guys? Can I just mention something? Right, don't you, Dolly Boy? Two things here. Number one, what was I gonna say here? I don't remember what I was gonna say. Number one, it for the longest time, the FBI, I think they're still considered the number one most common kind of terrorist group are environmental terrorists, according to the FBI. Now, I think it's actually right-wing terrorists now, but they're number 2 on that list, according to the FBI, are environmental terrorists, which is hilarious because, you know, they put them in the same category as terrorists who kill people. What environmental quote unquote terrorists do, which are activists, is that they do things like block logging companies from cutting down trees or block a road leading into a oil refinery. Of course, yeah, like Greenpeace, a bit more, yeah, but they do a bit of like nonviolent resistance here. Sometimes they will do things like blow up a pipeline without killing anyone. But apparently, Albiter Closet, yes. Final Fantasy VII, exactly. But apparently they are considered, according to our government, they're terrorists, and they are one of the biggest threats in the world. Okay, so that's good. Isn't that great? So great. Isn't environmental terror? Yep, 100%, Druzilla. What do we think that like this looks like? Okay. So guys, don't worry, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. We're all gonna die. Okay. By the way, guys, if you think it'll be bad, like people in this chat are from all over the world. Certain places in the world will be affected differently than others. It'll affect everyone, but some places in the world will literally end up underwater. So, like, although this doesn't sound that bad to me, Florida will eventually be completely underwater. Now, I don't know if many people are gonna miss it. I'm just saying. There are also a lot of Southeast Asia, Bangladesh, for example, might be completely underwater or very largely underwater. A lot of it will be underwater. Okay, like this. So we're not good, not good. A lot of big problems here. And okay, all right. Steal jewels on France and block free. Yep, terrible. Yeah, right. It's okay, Weirdomorphous. Oh, wait, you're right, Weirdomorphous Blob. Well, get out of Florida, Weirdomorphous Blob. Okay, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and get out of there. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right. So that's fun. Yeah, come visit Lagos before it gets partially flooded, right? Guys, also like places like Nigeria, a lot of places in the Sahel region of Africa, which is right between the Sahara Desert and I guess you could call it West Africa. There's like massive desertification going on, and climate change ain't gonna help that any. So a lot of that land in Africa, which right now can be used for crops and stuff, is being desertified. That's one of the reasons why there's a genocide going on in Sudan is climate change. So like anyway, there's a lot of problems, okay, with this, and no one is talking about it anymore. Have we noticed how like talking about this has disappeared basically? Like barely anyone is talking about climate change anymore. It's like in the back of all of our minds. Yeah, correct, Druzilla. Druzilla is right. Concerned about the massive immigration that will happen. Yeah. As all these places get flooded and people can't live certain places too, they will go elsewhere. There will be massive global migrations, and we know how much the right wing thrives off that. Thrives off demonizing immigrants. Like, it doesn't look good when you think of all the political ramifications of it too. All right. There you go, Outer Signal. Don't worry, guys. The Dow was at 50,000. Okay. Yep, we do, Weirdomorphous Blob. We need more climate activists of the Greta Thunberg type. All right, so guys, don't worry. The end is coming. There you go, Promethean Rebel. It's not happening if we don't talk about it, right? I boop for you. Boop. Okay, we have sea defense, right? Don't worry, Mithril. America has a ton of Abrams tanks. They'll stop climate change. All right. Anyway. Okay. There you go, Body Swap, right? Body Swap says, yes, the world is burning and everything will be submerged. But that's for a future quarter 4. In our quarter 1, profits are more important, Sam. 100% Body Swap. Don't forget about we need K, but the stock market is up. Okay. All right. I feel like yep, they are, Tish. They are, Tisha. I mean, right now, it's very nice outside where I am, all right? I have the window open and everything. Um, Rich Rain, you need to come in here more often. Everyone, by the way, should check out Rich Rain's channel on Twitch. Rich Rain says, if Israel was impacted, we would care. You're not wrong, Rich Rain. You're not wrong. Okay. Correct, Jonas. Somali famine droughts were exacerbated by climate change. 100%. Okay, dear God. You know what? Anyway, you know what? It's whatever. Okay, so that's great. We're all gonna die. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry. Okay, no problems there. Okay, guys. Don't worry, guys. You're all gonna die in a war for Israel first, so you won't have to worry about the. You won't have to see the climate change. Don't worry. You'll perish for the glorious cause of Greater Israel before that happens. All right. So moving on. Right. Next story here. That was the first story. Happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday. No problems here. Happy Saturday. Okay, happy Saturday. Love you all very much. Okay, please join our Discord if you haven't already. It's linked at the top of both the YouTube and the Twitch chat. Okay, moving on. Next story. So, as we why do we have to take the planet with us, man? I know. We won't, Sir Bartholomew. Luckily, the planet will be fine, right? The planet will keep going, chugging along, right? It'll be us that's bye-bye. The planet won't care. It'll recover. All right. By the way, there is a certain okay, there is a certain, by the way, I'm not being sarcastic. What do you mean? Um, no, Sir Bartholomew, you're right. Okay, so we are actually in one of the biggest mass extinctions event in history. Okay, did I say that right? Whatever. We're in one of the biggest mass extinction events in history. It's on par as when the asteroid hit the planet. So yeah, and there will be a lot. There will be a lot of other species that die because of this thing. But not every species will die, and eventually life will come back, in my opinion. Okay, like a lot of species live at the bottom of the ocean in um, the Mariana Trench and stuff. Like a lot of species live in hot thermal vents where they won't be as affected. So don't worry. Most species will die, but not all of them. Okay, so life will eventually come back. It'll just be a near complete death of life on the planet. Okay. All right. Moving on. So okay, yes, don't talk about dolphins in this chat, Sir Bartholomew. We all know what happened the last time I talked about dolphins in chat. Okay, so another note here, because we're living in idiocracy, guys. Don't forget, we're living in goddamn idiocracy. So the American war of imperialist aggression against Iran continues, right? The American war of imperialist aggression continues, okay? Meowser, that's terrible. Body swap. How about this body swap? Yes, I think the ducks will survive. Okay, if that makes you feel better to body swap, I'll tell you that the ducks will survive. Okay, I like ducks because ducks are gay. There's a lot of very gay ducks. Okay, I used to have 2 gay ducks in my backyard, and that used to hang out a lot of the time. Okay, so here we go. The glare here. So now more on idiocracy, guys. Now little old me ain't like a military, ain't like a general or anything, okay? Little old gay me, you know. I love a man in uniform, but I don't know how to order them what to do. Let's put it that way. Well, I probably do, but not in not in the war situation. Regardless, we have a yes, I did, Jonas, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about John Bolton and the monstrous thing he said. Okay. So I know, elevator lady. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is a article that came out in the Atlantic, right? Um, this I just thought this was kind of funny, and you know, it's just kind of reflective. I just love talking about the incompetence of the American empire. There was a book, I forget the name of it. I think it was called The Decline and Fall of the British Empire, and it was a historical monograph about how, like, how do I phrase this, degenerate the British Empire became before it collapsed. Like all the waste of money that the imperial government used to do, and like all the weird shit they used to do, okay, like near the end, and like in pictures of like these colonists like just sunbathing and like, you know, okay. So, okay, yeah, the American War of Imperial Aggression. Ooh, thank you, Outer Signal. Right, go. That's great propaganda. Yep, you should. It is absolutely a war of imperial aggression. So, anyway, and the American Empire is no different. Okay, the great incompetence that we're seeing while it declines is hilarious. So, guys, you know what? I'm not even. Don't even look at the screen. Don't even look at the screen. Okay, don't even look at the screen. Anyone who follows the news would know this, right? What what have we learned about the war in from the war in Ukraine? What have we learned is like the new most one of the most important new pieces of equipment being used in war? Knowing based off what was happening in Ukraine, what has become one of the most important pieces of equipment in war? Correct, Dolly Boy. Drones. We all know that, do we not? Yeah, all of you are saying it right now in chat. Drones, 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 drones. Okay? Drones. Right? Drones. Obviously. By the way, even some of Russia's drones are produced by Iran because Iran is known to be a massive producer of drones. So you would think that the United States, which is supposed to be the great empire, would be aware of that fact and be prepared for a lot of drones, right? If we're going to war with a country that produces a lot of drones. But no, no, we can't have, how dare you, Mithra, okay? We can't, obviously, imperial incompetence, right? So this article talks about how the United States is now going to, is struggling, taking out all the drones they're dealing with, and they're having to ask Ukraine to figure out how do we deal with all these drones. Now, okay, so we're literally asking the Ukrainian government to help us figure out how to deal with all the drones. Now, I just think this is funny. Okay. Yeah, no, we can't consider. You're right, Weird Moore's Law. We can't consider how bad of an idea it is because Israel wants us to do it, right? So, like, okay, I just like any of us in this chat could have guessed that there's going to be a drone issue. Why? Okay. Anyway, obviously, I hope the United States is defeated in the war. I didn't say that though. If anyone asks, I didn't say that. I don't want to be demonetized and be called a terrorist or something. But regardless, it just amused me. Like you don't have to be a genius to know. All right. So the United States and Israel, took at least a month to prepare their attack on Iran, assembling their largest arsenal of aircraft carriers and fighter jets that the Middle East has seen in decades. But one gap in their planning became clear during the first days of the war. The United States and its allies used their most advanced anti-aircraft systems to shoot down swarms of cheap, easily replaceable Iranian drones. Okay. Okay. The flaws in this, which, guys, I talked about, did I not? Okay. Which I talked about, right? I talked about. Didn't I say how, like, we're using massively expensive interceptors to shoot down drones? All right. The flaws in that approach have seemed particularly obvious to the leaders of Ukraine, who have more experience countering these drones than any other country. All right. So it goes on just to talk about, like, yeah. And Jonas, Jonas says, Iran, hello, Invalid Axiom. Iran's military formula is literally that they can't afford crazy fighter drips, so let's go hella drones. And we knew that. Yes, Meowzord, this is an example of what is called imperial hubris, right? It's imperial hubris. The empire thinks it's invincible, and its propaganda definitely makes it appear to be, makes it people believe. Thank you, Invalid Axiom. I'm sure you have great drip today too, Invalid Axiom. Anyway, but again, the empire is mistaken, and the empire is falling, and it has a lot of imperial hubris. Okay, just a little. It's kind of a small story. Sanai Takachi, right body swap. Okay. All right. So that's good, guys. Don't worry. I'm so impressed. I agree, Gwen. I agree. I mean, I like Zelensky. He's a really interesting character. Okay. Yep, the imperial hubris that has infected the empire for the last, like, 70 years. Correct. And we still haven't learned our lesson. Y'all need, okay, Sir Bartholomew, I didn't say it, you did. Like, you're right. And how many, like, just to show you how bad the imperial hubris is, how many wars have we lost in the past 70 years or not done well? And we're just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Yep, correct, Jonas, correct. Okay, anyway, exactly, Invalid Axiom. It's just humorous to me. The imperial hubris, the stupidity of it. It's like, okay. Future of Earth says our country is invincible, but our military is not. If you, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I'm pausing because it would be really hard to invade America, but no country is invincible. But okay. Anyway, if we learned the defense contractors' profit margins would, yeah, I know, right? Weird amorphous blob. You know, we have a lot to talk about, guys. Yeah, undefeated loss record, correct. We have a lot to talk about in regards to this. I'm going to show you later where Trump was bragging about how rich the military industrial complex has become and how the defense contractors are getting rich. So we'll talk about that. Yeah, exactly. Invalid axiom. Countries, any country can self-destruct. Okay. Anyway, now, yeah, there you go, Jonas. Right? Okay. Like, yeah, going against pirates would be good for a lot of folks. But anyway, moving on, guys. Right? Moving on. Or like, guys, I got to tell you, there might be lefties who get mad at me for this. Hopefully not. But like World War II was a good war to fight in. That was like the last one I can think of where America was kind of like, okay, I can see why you're fighting this war, and I'm glad you are doing it. Now, obviously, in the end of that war, we used that as an excuse to take a massive empire and become a global power. So there was a bit of an issue there. But hey, all for what we did in World War II, but that's about it. Right. And we definitely weren't the only ones. And the Soviet Union overwhelmingly contributed to that victory. And then the British contributed to it. The French, Australians, Canadians, like that was a group effort. So even in the war that we won, and was actually an okay war, it was a group effort. Anyway, um, that's interesting. Invalid axiom. That's funny. Okay, all right. Uh, we have Gwen. So that's a good question, Gwen. That's a good history question. Gwen asks, "Have we ever won a war since the 1700s?" Yeah. So, y that's a really hard yes, okay, we have. But that doesn't mean they were good wars. We won the Spanish-American War, for example. We won the Mexican-American War. We won about, we won the, what's that other one we won? Okay, see, this is really dark. We won a lot of the wars against Native American groups, if you want to call that war. I don't call that war. I know that's a gross thing to say. The American government won the Civil War. So there were other wars we won, guys. We could say we could say we won the Gulf War. We won the Gulf War. I'm not trying to be I'm not okay. Okay, exactly, weird amorphous blob, right? So no, Lacroix, the reason I mentioned that about World War II is because there are lefties out there that if you mention America contributing, they will be like, well, they didn't have a good reason to do it, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm glad that we did contribute, though it was mainly the Soviet Union who did all the work. All right. And by the way, you could also say China massively contributed. We never talk about that. Lots of other countries contributed. Okay, rather than just that. All right. Anyway. Um, I know invalid axi, okay? Exactly. But the most of the wars we've won have not been wars that are good. All right. All right. Thank you. Yes, there you go, weird amorphous blob. Chomsky, like Noam Chomsky, who I actually really like intellectually. I do not like him as a person anymore because he was associated with Epstein. He would sometimes be like, well, America shouldn't have been involved in World War II. And I was always like, okay, well, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Um, that's it's a side note. Okay, so today in Valid Axiom we have 21 people over on YouTube. All right, 21 people over on YouTube right now. All right. So anyway, okay. So I'm sorry, I'm rambling. No, Future of Earth. We did not win the Korean War. All right. We did not win the Korean War in the way we wanted to, but okay. Yeah, it's genocide, not war. Anyway, moving on. We could talk about more. All right. Now 22. Excellent invalid accent. Moving on. So that's just a fun story, guys. A fun story. All right. Okay. I know, right, Jonas? Ugh, it's gross. It's gross. Yeah. Patton was pretty brutal. All right. Yeah. Korea being split in half was not a win. Okay. All right, guys. So, yeah, it is Promethean Rebel. The Korean War never ended, guys. It's technically just a ceasefire. The Korean War never officially ended. It's a frozen conflict. Yeah, Patton was a weird guy. You know what? I know I'm rambling, guys. Yeah, no, me neither, Gwen. Like, not everyone that met with Epstein did something wrong, but Chomsky was like really close with Epstein, like in a gross way. We don't know if he did anything untoward. I guess you could use that word, but still, he also defended Epstein after the fact. Real gross. But Noam Chomsky, a great thinker, just kind of gross the stuff he did about Epstein. Anyway, all right, moving on. Um, yeah. Sorry about the I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm on a ramble here. Patton, I really do recommend. It's a really good movie that you watch the movie Patton. It is somewhat overtly patriotic, okay? Like, it's pretty patriotic. Dolly Boy, that would be MacArthur wanna do that, okay? It's very patriotic, but it also isn't that nice to him. It shows some of the bad things about him. One of the things that was really bad about Pam, by the way, is that he was obsessed with his niece. Like, he was in love with his niece, and he had a love thing with his niece. But anyway, which is kind of weird. I guess that's a smaller thing, but he also was kind of mean to his soldiers. He was a pretty competent commander. Anyway, yeah, Sir Bartholomew, but it's a good movie. Watch it. Okay, watch it. Anyway, moving on. Um, also, yes. So, yeah, Patton, by the way, wanted us to basically fight against the Soviet Union after beating the Nazis, and then he died in a mysterious car crash in Germany. And there are theories that the American government killed him so that he wouldn't start a war with the Soviet Union. He was very bloodthirsty. Anyway, moving on. Next story here. I'm not even going to be able to joke about this story. It's not even funny. I cannot find there's nothing funny about this. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, weird amorphous blob. Um, yeah, but guys, there is no evidence that we don't know if Chomsky actually engaged in sexual assault, but he definitely defended Epstein and was really weird. Some of the things he said. Anyway, okay. So I'm not I'm not going to be making a jokes here for a little bit. I can't. Okay. A new report came out by some social scientists who have concluded they noticed, guys, that in American history, okay, yeah, Sir Bartholomew, in American history, there has been a trend, I don't know if you guys know, of something called lynchings. Um, and, okay, so something called lynchings. And I don't know if I'm allowed to describe this on stream. It was basically the murder, especially of Black Americans, not always just Black Americans, also sometimes Jewish Americans, sometimes other ethnic minorities or Catholics, but mainly Black Americans. Okay, mainly Black Americans. Thank you very much, Sir Bartholomew. Sir Bartholomew, you were on top of that troll. Thank you very much. Okay. Um, and there was a sudden cutoff that a lot of social scientists thought was weird. It doesn't normally happen that way. There was a sudden cutoff about what? How many years ago? I forget. Let me see if it says in here. Um, like in the 90s, there was like a sudden cutoff in the number of reported lynchings. And it didn't make sense statistically. It's like, why did they just disappear suddenly and drop that suddenly? It doesn't make sense. So the new study has come out showing that there are still lynchings likely going on statistically, but they have evolved and they're not being talked about. So just to read this to you, a new civil rights report arguing that the lynchings of Black men didn't end in America. They evolved. Yeah, and that some deaths today may still be misclassified as suicides or accidents. Yes, Gwen. Oh, Strange Fruit that song makes me cry. I have trouble listening to the song Strange Fruit. But yes. Okay. Yeah. So here's the big picture. If the killings are being misclassified, family can lose their path to justice, and possible patterns of racial violence can remain hidden in plain sight. And guys, I want to point out that for those that live in America, you have heard the stories. There were multiple stories of Black men being found in public parks, hanging from trees, and it's ruled suicide. It has happened several times. And okay, so let me read this to you. Mississippi-based civil rights group Julian identified 70 modern-day lynchings in 7 southern states from 2000 to 2025. The report called the Crimson Record lists cases across Georgia, Texas, Louisiana, Florida. So a lot of southern states. Are we surprised? In Alabama, and says the total could exceed 100 when suspicious deaths are included. Okay. Mississippi had the most cases with 20, which I'm not surprised about. I'm not surprised. All right. The moment a case is ruled a suicide, it's no longer investigated as a potential homicide. Okay. So here's some examples of this, guys. Yeah, here's some examples of this. Um, Jermaine Carter, a black man found hanging from a tree in Greenwood, Mississippi in December 2010 was ruled a suicide by local authorities, though his family and civil rights group have long challenged the finding. Okay. Um, Rodney Thompson's death was also initially described as a suicide after neighbors found him hanging from a tree. Authorities in Memphis and LaFleur County did not respond to requests. There was also the case last month of Kyle Basinga in the metro Atlanta, who was found hanging in a wooded area in Cobb County. So, and by the way, the police are refusing to make statements about this report. And and okay. There was about 6,500 lynchings between 1865 and 1950. Okay, that's like thousands upon thousands of people being lynched. By the way, I don't want to, and it doesn't make sense that these would just disappear, right? And so it makes sense. And if you start counting the like the number of mysterious deaths regarding regarding like the amount of deaths after 1950 or later, the number matches what you would expect to see if the statistics were continuing from before. Does that make sense? Okay. So they conclude that lynching hasn't stopped; it has changed, and they don't often get investigated. All right. So I want to just there you go, invalid axiom. And I don't know enough about it in invalid axiom. I'm not a sociologist, unfortunately, but so I don't know how many other studies have been done. But I great, right? Isn't this horrific? Climate change, incompetence, lynchings. I'm gonna I really want to show you guys a picture, but I don't think I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste a link in chat, and you can look at it if you want to, just to show you how disgusting this country was historically in regards to the abuse of Black Americans. It was very common in the South during the pre-civil rights era to have postcards. You could, if you were like in a if you were in like a tourist destination in the South, a very common form of postcard you could purchase were postcards with images of lynched Black people. I am going to post it in the chat. Just a link. If you want to see some of them, I can't show you on screen, so content warning. If I do show, if I'm posting it in the chat, don't click on it. If you don't want to see it, okay? Well, I posted it at least. I'm posting it on Twitch at least. Yeah, it's because I want you, and you don't have to go. Oh wait, you know what? It's not going to work for me. Just look it up, okay? It's not going to work. Look it up. Look up postcards the South lynchings. And I don't want you to see. I don't want you to. I'm not doing this to dehumanize these folks or make you. Yeah, strange fruit postcards. That's what they're called. Okay. And this didn't happen that long ago, guys. This didn't happen that long ago. This was not happening that long ago. And there are images, by the way, of white people picnicking next to trees where there is a dead Black person. All right. We are not that far from that time period. And it's deeply disturbing to me, obviously. Okay. And I will say, yet people were celebrating it all the time, Gwen. It was like a community event. Literally, a lynching was oftentimes a community event. You brought out your kids. By the way, it was common practice to bring children to these things. Why? Someone tell me in chat. Why do you think we talked about superstructure, social structure, and infrastructure? What would be the purpose of bringing young white children to view these things? Correct, Jonas. Indoctrination. Exactly, weird amorphous blob. It blocks empathy. If you get used to seeing black people murder, it becomes normalized for you. All right? So, they would do it as a desensitization. They would do it to indoctrinate young people. And that is very dark, okay? I will say this, and this is a weird way for me to frame this. Please understand my point. There is a positive hidden in that fact. What do I mean by that? In order for people to be okay with watching people murdered in that way, you have to brainwash them, okay? Got you, Diego, okay? You have to brainwash them. It's gonna really be hard to convince the next generation of racist terrorists to kill black folks unless you really demonize black folks, right? So that is why it's so important to combat racism and be anti-racist. If you dismantle those structures and you dismantle the indoctrination, it'd be a lot harder. A lot of people would start feeling more empathy than they ever felt before. You see what I mean? So maybe we should work on that. Like, dear God. Okay. Um, all right. So real gross stuff. Real gross stuff. So just a story there. And I've noticed, guys, and I've been guilty of this somewhat too. I don't talk about racial issues as much. I talk about class issues a lot. I don't talk about racial issues as much. Partially because I do think the class issues will solve a lot of problems for people of all skin colors and things like that. But it's also been a trend recently that because of all this anti woke shit, correct, invalid axiom, okay. All the woke, like the anti woke stuff, there's been a big pushback against discussing these issues, okay. A big, it's not talked about as much. Um, and it makes me wonder if that's why some of these lynchings and stuff are going under the radar. I mean, they were previously, but probably even more now. The violence is probably not being is being talked about less at this point. So it's just really disturbing. And obviously, guys, I am not a class reductionist. Racism is separate from class oppression. And even if you solve class oppression, there will still be racial oppression. So it's not enough to solve class oppression. Um, so we also need to work on the other forms of oppression that exist, obviously. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, just something to think about there, guys. Okay. God forbid I'm not at a whites only diner. I might get empathy. Exactly, Mauser. And I'm not joking. I had a professor who used to tell us, part of the point of segregation was not only to oppress black folks. It was to prevent white folks from developing relationships and gaining empathy for black folks, right? If you are not allowed to marry a black person, if it's illegal, if you're not allowed, if you are told to stay separate from black people, it also makes it hard to develop empathy, as well as being oppressive of black folks. So you have to understand there's a social control aspect to this. We need to break down these barriers. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, Nightfall. Fantastic, Nightfall. Nightfall says, honestly, we've been learning about Black history at my uni, and honestly, I dove into Black history as well. That's why a few of my heroes, yes, Huey Newton, Malcolm X. Oh, fantastic heroes. Fantastic heroes, okay? Oh my gosh, Tisha. You know what though, Tisha? I would love to get some folks that lived in Jim Crow society in on the stream once to talk to us. I would love that. Letitia says my mother and father were born and raised in Jim Crow, Montgomery, Alabama. I've always wanted to interview people who lived in that time. Um, amazing. Okay. All right. Yep. Yeah, exactly, Mauser. There's a picture of that guy in the 60s dumping acid into a shared pool. Yeah. Like, this was not that long ago, folks. Like, this was not that long ago. Not that long ago. And we tend to think, well, okay, you guys get the idea. All right. So, moving on. Another really disturbing story. I can't even, there's nothing funny about that. I feel weird even talking about it dressed like a jester. Okay. Yep. So, invalid axiom correct. All right. Whew. Yeah. Um, Loving v Virginia, correct. Okay. All right, guys. So moving on here. Last thing here. Yes, yeah, yep, exactly, Dolly Boy, Mr. Rogers. Okay, so here's another thing, guys. Another story. All right. Guys, can I just say, like, I know I say this every time, but I just gotta say it. We all know that everyone's human being, right? Everyone's a human being. Like, come on, come on, come on, come on. Obviously, obviously, obviously. Everyone is a human being. It's like so annoying to me. So annoying to me that we still have to deal with this like caveman mentality. I know I say this all the time and it sounds repetitive, but it's literally just exhausting for me. And like that okay, I mean, I'm a white guy, that's not really, it's not oppressive to me particularly, but the fact that we have to talk about these things, it's so stupid, it's like trying to convince people the sky is blue, you know? It's like, who black people are humans, they're no different than you and I, they have more melanin in their skin, that's about it, I don't like there's nothing it's, and by the way, the easiest way to learn this is to live around black people or interact with black people or interact with trans people or interact with gay people or interact with Muslims, it becomes pretty obvious that they're just human beings, okay? Like we need people to anyway, it's just so obvious and I people who it's not obvious to, I don't understand. I just don't get it. All right. Anyway, so yeah, Gwen, I got you. Okay, I got you. So moving on. This is Uh, yeah, no, you're right, Jonas. We have like this natural sense of tribalism too, where human beings like, oh, we already looked at this article. Human beings like to separate each other into groups and shit. But it's just so annoying to me. Okay, I know that All right, moving on here, guys. Um, this is so okay. Let's talk about something else here a bit. Here we have e okay, yep, oh, you're right, Gwen, you're absolutely right, Gwen, Republicans hate higher education, that's why they hate DEI shit too, because dear God, Doug, could you post the link to that? I would like to see that. Alright, so real fast here, not real fast here, but remember how there were people claiming that this thing wasn't America and it wasn't America or Israel, but it was actually the Iranians who did it, and, like, we got into several fights in the Discord with, like, 2 different people about this. We had to convince certain people in the Discord that this was the case, and one of them ended up getting banned because they ended up being a lunatic. Okay. So, now I know this might be shocking to all of you in this chat here. I know this might exactly, Malzard. Empathy is anti-capitalist. That's how you rise up in a capitalist enterprise, is if you're very sociopathic and lack empathy, you're able to become a CEO pretty quickly. Anyway, moving on. So I know this is shocking. I know this is shocking, but we do know that the evidence is starting to suggest just a little bit, just a bit more than a bit, by the way, that the deadly blast at an Iranian school was likely a US airstrike, right? Right. We know that, right? We know that. That school of girls that got blown to pieces, a bunch of little girls murdered, wasn't likely an American airstrike. Okay, likely an American airstrike. And I know, for people out there think that America can do no wrong. It's an angelic country. It's full of archangels or whatever. Okay, but there you go, invalid axiom. But like okay, no, it's an imperialist regime. It is monstrous. Yeah, it is. It's a dumb title. Evidence suggests. They always use passive language. I know you guys are very shocked, okay, about this. But I can we just point out here that Pete Hegseth should be arrested for war crimes and put on trial. Of course they will, Gwen. Of course we'll lie. I mean, of course America will lie. Pete Hegseth should be in The Hague right now on trial for war crimes. Donald Trump should be on trial for war crimes. He should be arrested and put on trial for war crimes. Who else should we be putting on trial for war crimes? There's a lot of other people that should be put on trial for war crimes. General Kane, who's in charge of the operation, should be put on trial for war crimes, charged, found guilty. Sure, let's do that. Why don't we do a poll? How about we do a poll, guys? Let's just see what happens here. Let's do a poll on Twitch, okay? Poll, are you shocked? Okay, are you shooketh? Um, I'm just gonna put shocked America. Okay, are you shocked that America did a war crime? I almost said did a cute little war crime, but then I'm like, I don't want people to get the wrong impression because you can't see the makeup on that screen, right? All right. Yes. No. All right. There we go. 5-minute duration there. All right. You know, are we shocked America did a war crime? I just asked over on Twitch. I'll do it one now over here too on YouTube. Shocked America did war crime. I hope no one is shocked. Shocked America did war crime. I'm guessing no one in here is shocked. All right. I'm guessing no one, but it's just really for my amusement. Let's do this. Okay, there we go. I just did it on YouTube too. So let's see what we got here. I'm guessing no one is gonna be shocked. Okay, yeah, war crimes are. I know, right, Jonas? Okay, okay. I'm sure some people are gonna be sarcastic though. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of shocked they haven't done more too. Although, admittedly, they've already hit multiple hospitals. Yeah, Gwen, of course, guys. The only people that deserve to be charged for war crime are black and brown people. You know, I'm not being serious, right? But that's how it's treated on the international stage. Or let me put it this way: black and brown people that come from the global south are typically the only people that ever get charged for war crime. Now, to be clear, they deserve it. Okay, these people that do get charged with war crimes, like from the Rwandan genocide and whatever, do deserve to be charged with war crimes. But can we please charge people from from the imperial core who also deserve to be charged with war crimes? Like Netanyahu, like Trump, like George W. Bush. Okay, like you see what I mean? Like, can we make sure that Putin should be found guilty of war crimes? Obama should be found guilty of war crimes, right? Like, there. Okay, do we see how there's kind of a injustice in how justice is applied here, right? Right. There are tons of this, right? Tony Blair should be found guilty of war crimes. Okay, a lot of people should be found guilty of war crimes. And that's like, how dare you? Okay, just saying, right? A lot of people should be found guilty of war crimes. Okay, right, Lacroix can't charge people in charge of the world with war crimes. That brings the world into chaos, apparently, right? Now, anyway, so that's fun. Yeah. So isn't that shocking, guys? Isn't that fun? Yep, Keir Starmer, probably David Lammy, absolutely. A lot of folks should be charged with war crimes, okay? That are never charged with war crimes. I can't think there's tons of presidents recently that need to be charged with war crimes. Anyway, Henry Kissinger should have been charged with war crimes, Nixon. Anyway, all right. So, but that'll never happen. So who cares, I guess. Anyway. Yeah, I hope the person who pressed yes was joking. Okay, dear God, I'm sure they were. Let's see here. So over on YouTube, okay, excellent. On Twitch, 9 people said no, not shocked, and then only 1 person said yes over on YouTube. Okay. Future, no, that's not a war crime. Sending weapons to Ukraine is not a war crime. I don't think it is. So no, Biden. Now Biden did do war crimes, but that's not something he should be charged for. Like sending weapons to Ukraine is not the same thing as some of the other stuff he did. Now, I guess he could be charged with a war crime for sending Ukraine cluster munitions. That's possible, but anyway. Okay, just a note there. All right. So just to read a little bit of this real fast for you guys. Satellite images, expert analysis, a U.S. official and public information released by the U.S. and Israeli militaries suggest an explosion that killed scores of Iranian students at a school was likely caused by U.S. airstrikes that also hit an adjacent compound associated with the regime's Revolutionary Guard. Okay. Okay, I know that's shocking, guys. You can see here, there's images. They've done images. It looks very, very much like it is going to be. Satellite images taken Wednesday and reviewed by the Associated Press show most of the school in the city of Minab, some 1,100 kilometers southeast of Tehran, reduced to rubble. A crescent shape punched into its roof. Experts, guys, don't worry. We were just spreading freedom and democracy to that school, right? That's you should be happy for those girls. We just brought them freedom and democracy. All right. Anyway, okay. Experts say the we're liberating those little girls from their oppressive regime. All right. Don't you know that, guys? We are liberating those little girls from an oppressive regime. So don't be mad about this. Okay. Experts say the tight pattern of damage visible on the satellite photos is consistent with a targeted airstrike. Okay. Yeah. No shit. Iran has blamed Israel and the United States for the strike. Neither country has accepted responsibility. Asked about the strike at the school, a Pentagon media briefing Wednesday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said, all I can say is we're investigating that. The fact that they're not even denying it, they're just saying, we're investigating it, means we almost certainly did it. Yep. So, of course, guys, I'm not surprised at all. Of course, invalid axiom. You're right. U.S. bombs, guys. We love spreading freedom with our bombs. I don't know if you've noticed. We love liberating people from their lives. God bless America. Great country we have here. No, zero reason why people in the world don't like us. I can't imagine why. Why don't they like us for spreading freedom and democracy everywhere? I wonder why. No, shocking that might be a reason why some people don't like us in the world. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Hey, you're right, Sir Bartholomew. Technically, we're being humane because a lot of people in America believe in heaven, so we're just sending everyone straight to heaven. How humane of us. Anyway, okay. Wait a minute. No. They were Muslims, so clearly they're not going to go to heaven. Okay. According to the American right wing and stuff. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I can't even make these jokes. It's really gross. But I hope you see the dark joke part of this. Okay, this is really disgusting. And America's barbaric and really war crime. We need some tribunals. We need some tribunals. Okay, I would love some public tribunals of these people. Hell, send them to Iran after the war ends. Send them to Iran to be tried by the Iranian people. Oh my God, guys, I love this idea, and I just came up with it. Wouldn't that be great if we just sent our war criminals to the countries that they bombed and let those countries hold trial, have a trial for them and shit? Like, oh my God. Okay. That would be love that. Jonas, I'm just angry about the future militant groups that will form, further proving that Muslims are inherently evil. Yeah, no, you're right. That will happen, right? Yeah, Weirdomorphous Blob. Hey, that's not my business, Arbeiterklasse. If they get torn apart, what can I say? It's not my fault. So okay. Yeah, guys, like yes, Jonas. And guys, why do we think there are some radical Islamist groups around the world? Okay, well, maybe if we stopped bombing parts of the world that were inhabited by Muslims and killing their children and destroying their houses and preventing them from occupying land that belongs to them, and murdering them en masse, and shit like that. I have a feeling that might cause some radicalization if you do that to people, right? Imagine if if some country, let's say if there were, I don't know, Scientologists coming to America and going to Texas and bombing Christian homes and destroying Christian places of worship and pushing Christians off their land and murdering Christian children and forcing them onto giant open air concentration camps. Can you imagine? I can see that in Texas there might be some Christians who end up becoming a bit radicalized, right? You see what I mean? That might end up being a bit radicalized. I know, I'm just using a random group, okay? I'm using a random group. It doesn't matter. We could say Muslims come over to the US or Jewish folks or Hindus. I don't care. It doesn't matter, okay? Any group at all. I don't know, Buddhist, a bunch of Buddhist imperialists. You see what I mean? Whatever. It doesn't matter. But you see what I mean? That's what happens. As a matter of fact, guys, you're actually, Lacroix, you're actually right. We have actually seen that already in American history. If anyone knows what happened at the Waco compound when the FBI, in it, well, it's debated whether it was inadvertent or not. I'd say it's not inadvertent, but killed a bunch of correct. Now they were Christian cultists to an extent, which radicalized a bunch of far right Christian groups into doing things like the Oklahoma City bombings. Okay, so of course, but of course, no one in the media, by the way, when that happened, called the guy that bombed Oklahoma City, did the Oklahoma City bombing. No one called him a Christian terrorist. None. Because I had to do research on that event. No one called Timothy McVeigh a Christian terrorist, right? As soon as it's a Muslim, though, it's suddenly a Muslim terrorist, right? It's Islamic terrorism. But when a Christian does it, okay, you guys get it. Yeah, Timothy McVeigh. All right. So anyway, Good point though, guys. Great example there. Ruby Ridge and I didn't even think of those. Those are examples of Christian terrorism. Okay, so moving on, guys. There we go. So that's good. Love that for us. Our regime is evil. Okay, I didn't get it, CR. Okay, I got you, Valdax. I hope you all understand. Wait, what? Why did they say he did? So, Lacroix, for a number of reasons. Let me show you guys. So, Timothy McVeigh, do we remember this guy? Some of you may not have been alive. Well, I think a lot of you weren't alive when this happened. Timothy McVeigh, who here was alive during the Oklahoma City bombings? Okay, he had links to far right wing Christian groups, including the Covenant, the Sword, and the Arm of the Lord. The branch. He did not links, but he saw what the government had done to Christian groups like the Branch Davidians and Ruby Ridge, and to the Covenant, the Sword, and the Arm of the Lord. And he felt he had also been radicalized by other right-wing literature, and he felt that the government was trying to suppress religious liberty, amongst other things. So he blew up. The federal building in Oklahoma City, literally blew the face of the building off. He had a massive fertilizer bomb in the back of his truck. He went in front of the building, blew it up, ended up killing a bunch of children in a daycare, by the way, that was in that building, in a massive explosion. Partially because of right-wing ideas, in the 90s. And, okay. Yeah. No, Burn Jobby. So we did a stream on this one. Yes, the Ruby Ridge. I don't think. Did I call the Ruby Ridge people terrorists? If I did, I didn't mean to. They weren't. They didn't do any terrorism, but they were right wing Christian cultists who believed in something called Christian identity. Regardless, that's fair. Okay. Hello, Park Course Language. Welcome. So anyway, so if I said that they were terrorists, I didn't mean that. They were not terrorists, the Ruby Ridge people. I actually did no, they weren't really. So guys, I did a whole presentation a while back on Ruby Ridge. Okay, so good afternoon, Fetty. Welcome. Well, glad you're here. Okay, okay. Good luck, Fetty. So, all right. I'm just getting my terms mixed up, Burnjo, because I was talking about this guy who's a terrorist, and he was inspired by like Ruby Ridge and the Branch Davidians. There we go. Okay. Now, all right. Yeah, the Turner Diaries. We talked. So, guys, do you guys remember? Someone tell me in chat. Do you remember when I did that whole presentation? Because, guys, I did my graduate master's thesis on the post-World War II fascist diaspora, including right-wing fascist ideologies in the United States. So I know all about these things. I just, I'm talking too fast. But yeah, the Turner Diaries are horrific. Okay, anyway. Moving on. So, Muslims aren't alone in being radicalized when they're being killed and shit like that. Yeah, okay. Okay. So, so there you go. Some news there, right? Isn't that great? Isn't that great? 1995. There you go, Druzilla. All right, you guys. Yay. Love this. Okay. All right. So, guys, there's some of the news items we were going to talk about, okay? Some of the news items I thought we could talk about. Some news items I thought we would talk about. All right. Now, some other stuff I wanted to talk about. Some other things I wanted to talk about, right? Some other stuff I wanted to talk about. So there's some of the big news items. There's some other stuff happening, but it's Saturday. I wanted to talk a little bit about something before we get back into the news. Okay? So we're going to take a slight little detour here, and we're going to talk about something interesting. All right? We're going to talk about something very interesting. All right? We're going to talk about art and propaganda. Okay, art and propaganda, really fast here. Okay, this is very relevant based off what we Okay, all right. So let's talk, right? Because I've been noticing, guys, with AI and with all the shit the White House puts out, the fascist propaganda is going wild, and also we need new ways to resist. art is a great way to resist. It's an easy way to resist that can be very meaningful. And I know it seems, it can radicalize people, even if it's not a direct sort of action. That we do still need direct action too, but art is very important. Okay, so Louise, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm partially doing this. I will hydrate. I'm partially doing this because I know that there are a lot of very artistic people here in this community and in this group. Okay, okay. Yeah, like memes and like memes and shit like that. Art is all over the internet. We just don't view it that art. Okay, so I just want to show you some examples of art that is sort of a form of what's is very not undermining. What's the term? Transgressive. Okay, and is very a way of sort of pushing back. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Walter Benjamin, who talked about fascism under art under fascism. Okay, 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 okay. So let's begin by talking about this guy. This is an example here of a kind of art. This is one of my favorite artists. All right. Has anyone ever here heard of Kehinde Wiley? Kehinde Wiley. Anyone here heard of Kehinde Wiley before? So since we were just talking about lynchings and things like that. Okay, Kehinde Wiley is I believe he was Ghanan. I think he's a Ghanan American. I think I think he's literally originally from Africa. I could be wrong though. I need to check. Okay. Um, I honestly can't remember. I need to look him up again. Okay. So he is at very least he's a black man. Okay. And he does art like this. So he takes black Americans and puts them into portraits like this. Look at this. Look at this. So this is an image of a black man, obviously. This guy is dressed in his regular clothing. He's been placed into is he Nigerian? I need to look it up, forgive me. But this is like he's being put into an image that's like based off ancient like old regime ancient European art, okay? Like, isn't that badass? Because we have this idea in art of like all these white great men on horseback doing all this badass things. Well, there's very little art that sort of glorifies black men or black people generally. So the fact that he takes black people off the street, essentially, off like from their homes, it sounds like he's abducting them. You know what I mean? And then just puts them in these poses and then fits them into European art scenes, like what would have been a Napoleon scene is amazing. Isn't that cool? Let me give you another one of his. Do you see how transgressive this is? It's sort of like empowering. Makes you feel. Look at this. Here's another one. Okay. This man here in a pose like a European noble. Okay. And with a sword. Okay, posed like a European. Like I love this art. I don't know something about it really. I really like it. Okay, it's so badass too. Or we have something like this, kind of like here is another guy here laying, kind of like you would see in some old masters art. Asleep. I don't know if he's asleep. I don't know what it is. It's based off some piece of old art, but like okay, just the colors. But it's also, guys, a form of resistance, right? It's trying to go against the narrative the media puts out about people with dark skin. We have a lot of stereotypes out there that are put in the media about people with dark skin. This is trying to counter that, okay? Or over here, look at this. Now, if there's something you like never see in the media, it is black men with humanity, okay? Or black men that are expressing emotion in a sort of healthy way. It's very rare. I mean, you do see it sometimes these days, but a lot of times black men are not presented in a very human way in media. And the media, like they're presented as have only being able to be angry and other things like that, okay? Whatever it may be. But look at this. Just beautiful. It's Kehinde Wiley in Valid Axiom. If you look, here's his name right here. If you want to look him up, you can look him up, guys. Great, great art. And then, like, just I don't know, something about this one in particular. It's like we're catching the guy in a moment where he's just okay. He also portrays a black woman. Look at this. I mean, God, that's a beautiful painting. All right. Just okay. So again, this is it may not seem like this is a kind of revolutionary art, but it is kind of, right? It's contradicting a narrative, and it is inspiring, is it not? It's oh, there's a Netflix documentary? I didn't know about this, right? I didn't know that, okay? And you guys could he actually by the way, Barack Obama, who you guys know I don't like very much, right, guys? Yep, right, Jonas, still have to deal with people being scared when you walk past them at night. Yeah, right? But, like, this is kinda what this is though, Jonas, right? This is trying to counter that narrative. Now, does it change material conditions on the ground? No. But just looking at this, you can see how this might start making people view black folks differently, at least internally. And I know that sounds like I'm exaggerating, but art can have a pretty big effect on people, right? Okay. So, there you go, alright? Isn't that cool? I think that's very cool. Uh, let's go to a different kind of art here, alright? So that's an example of a sort of a kind of art that can be transgressive and shit. This is a form of performance art, which is the similar kind of art to what I do here, okay? I guess you wanna say that. Guys, I know I sound, like, super, like, snooty, like, "Oh, art, art, art." I am not, like, a big art nerd here, okay? I wanna point that out, but I'm just trying to use this language because it's true, right? Has anyone ever heard of the clandestine insurgent rebel clown army? Okay. Yeah, right, okay. The clandestine insurgent rebel clown army. This is they don't exist anymore, okay? They're from the UK, by the way. They're from the UK. And back during the Iraq War and stuff, they, used to protest, they well, actually, well, back around during the Iraq War, up until, like, 2015, I believe, they existed, and they were clowns. They were clowns who would go to protests, and they would, like, for example, in this, image, these are a bunch of people on the right here are a bunch of, like, far-right people protesting Muslims, I think it is, okay? Protesting Muslims or protesting something, and this group of clowns are just following them, and oh no, they're anti-abortion. Following them and, like, laughing at them, and they're all dressed like clowns, and they have these funny instruments, make a really annoying sounds, okay? Or they will do things like this, stand next to police officers and mimic them, okay? Like, "Oh, look how serious I am. Look how serious we are. I got a clown next to me. Alright? And, or another example, okay? Okay, right, right. Or another example, look at this. Here are a bunch of riot police lining up to go start beating people down in the UK, and the clowns are lining up next to them, mocking them, okay? And, like, this is deeply transgressive, okay? And I can tell you more about this group in 1 second. This is deeply, undermining of authority, alright? It's one of the things about, authority is that it presents an illusion of having strength and being serious, okay? There's a reason why, like, kings and stuff wear these amazing outfits, okay? Or why, like, wealthy people wear, like, really expensive fashion. You have to do what you can to separate yourself from the masses, to give yourself the illusion of being better or serious or whatever it is, okay? Same with, like, the police, with the government. There's all this ritual and performance that goes into trying to trick people into listening to them. Doing this really undermines that authority, doesn't it? Okay. Yes, J-Mac. Okay. So, and yeah, by the way, fascists hate comedy. There's a reason for this. And so let me give you another example. You know what a lot of these clowns would do? You know what a lot of these clowns would do? They would fill their pockets with sex toys. Literally. They would have, I can't say these things on stream, certain large sex toys in their pockets. A lot of times, you see how big their pants are? You know how clowns have these big pants that have really deep pockets? So they would fill them up with all these sort of sex toys. And so what would happen is that they would upset the police, and the police would then come over to arrest them. And what do you have to do when you arrest someone? You have to empty their pockets. So the police would be standing there with all these photographers around, pulling out all these ridiculous sex toys out of these clowns' pockets while they're being arrested. Okay? So, like, humiliating the police who would then have to create these piles of sex toys while they were arresting these clowns, okay? Um, like, that is a great form of resistance that has a very artistic bent to it, right? Like, it's art. It's like, it's performance art. In this case, it's performance art. And you can imagine, guys, you get a lot of good resistance photos. One of the things you want from doing protests, guys, are photographs. You want photographs that can spread the message farther and get more people to see your message. All right? So, hey, I recommend, guys, if you go to a protest, dress like you're going to be going to a protest. Dress in a way that's going to get attention, okay? Anyway. Woo! All right. So that is the clandestine insurgent rebel clown army, okay? And this has been a trend throughout history, by the way, clowning and gesturing. I know, right? Clowning and gesturing as a form of resistance and a form of messing with authority figures. That's why I'm dressed like a jester, okay? Let's go on to another artist. Last artist we're going to look at before we get into the fascist shit. Okay? Uh, you know, this is Ai Weiwei. Ai Weiwei is from China, actually. Um, and he's interesting, okay? He does some art here. He does all kinds of art that's really transgressive, both against the Chinese government and against the American government and against he's kind of anti a lot of governments, okay? So he, by the way, is the one who designed the bird's nest for the Beijing Olympics. Do you guys remember that big stadium that was really cool looking? That was designed by Ai Weiwei. All right, this guy. So, for example, this is like his art is very simplistic, but really cool. You see this? These are just a bunch of smashed vases, okay? And this is criticizing the Cultural Revolution in China, where the government ordered the destruction of a bunch of cultural artifacts, the destruction of like several thousand-year-old vases and things like that. Yeah, the government doesn't like him. They kept him under house arrest and monitored his house for a long time. Obviously, they don't hate him because they allowed him to design the arena and stuff. So they respect his art, but like for a while they were like really sus of him. But he's still a pretty respected figure in China, in some ways. Okay. So like that's just a bunch of destroyed vases trying to criticize the Chinese government. Here you have an image of him breaking a vase. Okay. And a vase, I guess. I keep saying vase. You can tell I'm gay. A vase, right? And this is actually apparently a very, very, very old vase. So once you know that this is like a 1,000-year-old vase or something that he's shattering, it's kind of like, oh my God, what are you doing? But that's the whole point of this photograph, is to make you be like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you destroying this 1,000-year-old vase? And kind of elicit that emotion as a way of criticizing the Chinese government for the Cultural Revolution, okay? Lastly, he also criticizes like capitalism and consumerism. Here he has a vase that's designed in the ancient Chinese way that he's put a Coca-Cola logo on. What do we think he's trying to say here, right? Like that kind of ruins the art, doesn't it? Like the Coca-Cola, the mass production aspect of consumerism kind of ruins art. Okay? Right? It's not really a cool vase anymore if you have a Coca-Cola logo on it. So, very sort of transgressive art, okay? Subversive in a lot of ways. There's also a documentary about him, and it's a bit biased, I will say, and it's a bit old at this point. Um, uh, eh, eh, yeah, there you go, invalid axiom, yeah. Drink okay, LaCroix, hilarious. Okay, yes, they did, invalid axiom. So, look up his art. He's also a great artist that does some pretty, um repressive that fights against repressive stuff. All right. Isn't it Outer Signal, the Coca-Cola vase? Okay. So there you go. Just some ideas of art, guys. Oh, one other. I'm sorry. I forgot one last one. This one's short. Something else you can do is you can repurpose old propaganda or old images for more modern takes on it. All right. So, for example, for those who have seen this, this is from American history during the French and Indian War before the American Revolution. There is a yeah, there you go. There is a Benjamin Franklin, one of the American founding fathers, made this image, which was trying to convince the various American colonies to unite together against the French or face destruction. So he drew an image of a snake that was chopped up into bits, and each part of the snake is another colony. So like New England, New York, um, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. You can see them listed here, okay? And it says join or die, as in you better get together and resist, or the French, or we're all going to die together. Okay. So you can take stuff like that and do something like this, where you take a modern spin on it. Here you have an image that says elite on it, and you guys are going to love this. Okay. An image that says the elite, and it says divide and conquer on this hand, and there's a blade, and on the blade it says corporate profit, and you see the snake has been cut up into identity, class, politics, religion, education, sexuality and gender, nationality and race, and it says join or die at the bottom. Isn't that cool? As in, we better all unite together against the elite. They are purposely cutting us up into segments of identity. Yeah, right? Isn't that so much better than the original? Ideas of religion. They're dividing us up by religion, by education, by sexuality and gender, by race, by nationality. But the real enemy here is the elite, okay? And we need to join together or be killed by the elite. So you can also repurpose old images. Okay, that's another interesting thing to think about. Um, okay. All right. So now that brings us to the last thing we're going to talk about. It'd be if that'd been reproduced as a poster. Me too, Louise. I would totally get that if it were reproduced. So let's briefly now talk about, since we're talking about art and propaganda, right? Let's talk a little bit about art under capitalism and art under fascism. Okay, we've talked a little bit about this before, but I'm going to go into it a little bit, and this won't take terribly long. Don't you dare leave the stream. I know some of you out there are like, no, education bad. Okay, it won't take that long, I promise. So if anyone's ever heard of Walter Benjamin was a Marxist, okay, but he was alive from 1892 to 1940. In 1935, he published an essay called The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction. And it was a essay about how, with the Industrial Revolution, the value of art has changed, the purpose of art has changed, and things like that, okay? Like, it used to be art was produced by artists, and there were very few copies of it. But then, with the invention of the industrial revolution, suddenly you had mass-produced art, and that changed art in a lot of ways, not always for the best. Okay, so what did it do? What did sort of the mass production of art start doing? Okay, under capitalism, what did it under mass production and capitalism? What did it start doing? He made the argument that when you start mass reproducing art, like for example, guys, if you go to Target, you might be able to find posters that are mass reproduced, like mass reproduced posters of certain pieces of art, right? Like mass reproduced posters of the Mona Lisa, or mass reproduced lamps that have a certain style to them. Okay. So anyone could have them. Okay. So he said that it resulted in a loss of aura. And what does that mean? He said that technological reproduction, so like photography, film, printing, detaches art from its context. Okay. It destroys the aura of art. It makes it less unique, and it gets rid of the sort of here and now importance of art. It makes it not as impactful, right? Like if you can, if there isn't like one and only one version of an art, you can like put it wherever you want. It's mass reproduced. The mystique and the aura around a piece in the mystique and shit is not is gone. Kind of, it kind of weakens the art, doesn't it? And the impact of the art. And it also makes you, exactly, Jonas, it makes it less meaningful. It does, okay? It also makes you more, let's put it this way, numb to it. If you're like constantly seeing the same piece of art on everyone's walls in like a dorm room and stuff, it ain't gonna be as nice, okay? So a loss of aura. It ruins art in that way. Another thing here is politicization of art. So with the mass production of art in a capitalist system, the loss of aura, so the loss of like the specialness of art, enables art to be based on politics rather than ritual, which basically means if you can mass produce art, it allows the masses to engage with it, which makes it very political, right? Because it allows the masses to engage with the art in a new, critical, and distracted way rather than with passive contemplation. So if you can put art everywhere, you can use that art to really manipulate people, obviously, okay? Both in a good way and a bad way, right? Like, it's one thing to go to, like, a museum and see a piece of art, and that might, um, that might inspire you or something, but if anyone can see it now, if anyone can see it, it becomes very politicized and it becomes democratized in a way. Okay, it becomes democratized in a way. All right, so it can both be democratized. It's both democratizing and it politicizes art, but that can go good. That can go in a good way or a bad way. You see what I mean? Blue Dream, you say this feels pretentious. I don't think I agree. And actually, Blue Dream, I partially agree with you. I do not completely agree with Walter Benjamin. Okay, exactly, Outer Signal, and that's my point here. Is that he says it allows for the politicization of art. So art can then be used as both a fashion, like as to control people, and as a form of resistance. You see what I mean? Regardless, but it makes it more political. But Blue Dream, I agree with you partially. I think he takes it a bit too far in some ways, but this is what he said. Okay, let me go on to the next part here. He also went on to talk about fascism because I believe he was Jewish, okay, and he was witnessing the rise of fascism in Europe, and he critiqued fascism and said Benjamin criticized how fascism uses technology and spectacles, okay, the spectacle, to turn politics into entertainment and create a sensory experience that hides the true destructive nature of the state. So to him, the Nazis started using art to hide reality, which is something you can do when you have mass reproduced art that everyone has access to. You can create a new reality. And you can use the spectacle as a way of and sensory experiences as a way from hiding material reality. All right. So he talked about how the Nazis gave people the feeling of being empowered and being liberated from like the capitalists and things like that, while in reality, nothing changed about capitalism. Okay, they were still being oppressed by the ruling class. They were still being oppressed by the bourgeois. But the Nazis used art to create a spectacle that gave people the illusion that they were being empowered. You see what I mean? It's like that old phrase I always tell you. Die Welt ist meine Vorstellung. The world is however I view it to be. The Nazis deeply believed that they could create reality, whether it was a true reality or not. Okay, so and I thought that. So the other things he said, as Blue Dream said, I nitpick with a bit here. Okay, I nitpick a bit with here. But I kind of agree with Blue Dream about the idea of aura and stuff being kind of classist a little bit. But I think the best part of his critique is this one, okay? The idea of fascism uses the spectacle as a way to turn politics into entertainment and that to create a sensory experiences that hides true destructive nature of the state. Let me show you guys something. When he says a sensory experience, we tend to think of the Nazis and we think of images, right? Images. So like, let me show you here. Nazis marching. A Nazi parade, for example, here you go. Images like this, okay? You know, Nazis marching in the streets, and like a lot of visual stuff. That was not all the Nazis were doing, okay? They overwhelmed your senses. They overwhelmed your senses. A lot of times these guys marching in these parades would have in their boots, they would have steel knobs or nails in the bottom of their boots. So every time their boots hit the ground, it would be a clunk, clunk, clunk. Okay. There'd be a loud clunking sound because their boots had metal uh, bulbs in the bottoms of them. Okay. It was extremely loud when they were marching through the streets. They also oftentimes would clack. Thank you. It'd be clack, clack, clack. It would oftentimes also have a band following them around, playing very loud music. Um, yeah, like they would sound clack, 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 very loud. Okay. So it was not only a visual thing, it was a sound thing. It was a sound thing. Oftentimes there was a smell component. A lot of times they would go to book burnings, and so there'd be a smell of smoke in the air. They overwhelmed your senses. All right. It was like an overwhelming sensory experience. And it's easy, by the way, to get caught up in an overwhelming sensory experience and join in with it. Kind of like a religious experience. If you've ever been in a church where people are really getting into it, okay, and like are starting to feel like really strongly about like the spirit of God or whatever it may be. Okay. So it was a whole sensory experience, and you could not get away from it in Nazi Germany. There were swastikas everywhere. There was propaganda everywhere. It was all using mass reproduced art and performance to try and change people's view of the world, even though the world wasn't actually getting much better for people. Okay. Now, why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about Walter Benjamin? Our regime is doing the exact same thing, guys. Have you noticed that Trump is all about the spectacle, right? It's all about spectacle, all about spectacle. Remember the military parade and shit? You know, so much spectacle all the time. And the internet, the mass reproduction and stuff on the internet has turned everything into a goddamn spectacle. It has turned it into a giant mass reproduced art thing where reality can be easily altered by just what, you know, it's okay. Yeah. Dolly boy, Pam Bondi screaming about the Dow being at 50K. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, the squeaky tank, right, Louise? Like it's all a goddamn spectacle. And guys, the Democrats play into it. You know, I've fallen for the spectacle, right? Like we'll watch some of the speeches that these fools give. And it's a very big spectacle. All right. And you know, uh, just be aware of that, right? Remember, though, Walter Benjamin says that art can be used in the opposite direction. We can also make a spectacle, just like those clowns did. Okay, we can use art to counter the narrative. We can use spectacle to counter the narrative, and obviously direct resistance. But if we're just talking about imagery, right? So we need to fight their spectacle with our spectacle. Don't surrender. And a lot of times, guys, like not left, like liberals and stuff are like, you know, are always screaming about civility politics. Be civil, be civil, be civil. Don't do a spectacle. Okay. No, we don't, as Meowsword says here, don't give them a monopoly on theatrics. Okay, we can do our own theatrics. All right. Meowsword, Trump is literally consuming all IPs and desublimating everything into fascist propaganda. So least we can do is create more compelling art. 100% Meowsword. So guys, something you can do if you're an artist is do counter art. Counter the fascist art with your own art. All right. We need to counteract the reality they're creating through their mass reproduced art. Okay. You can barely even call it art, of course. So, all right. I just wanted to talk about that, right? Thank you, Malzord. Really, thank you, Malzord, for that donation there. Great content. Malzord, you know how much I appreciate when you say great content to me. Thank you very much, okay? All right. So let's resist that, okay? Let's resist. And we can be as simple as making art, all right? And I know a lot of you are good at art. All right. So, guys, since we're talking about that, I wanted to show you a few things here. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a piece of propaganda that came out recently from the White House. As always, there's a bunch of shit that came out. Thankfully, yeah, you're right, Blue Dream. Luckily, most artists are left-leaning. That is very true, okay? You guys have noticed that a lot of the propaganda that Trump puts out is very low quality. It's shit. But it doesn't really matter that it's shit. If it's everywhere, it can still influence people because right-wingers aren't good at art, in my opinion, okay? Most of the time, the left people are much better at art, right? And there have been thoughts amongst some dear God, Jonas. Exactly, Jonas. That's so spectacle. For the people who mentioned the UFC fight, that's all spectacle, right? Okay. All right. So here's a new piece of propaganda from the Trump administration, just to show you the kind of spectacle I'm talking about that they're trying to create. By the way, guys, if you really want to see what it's like to live in a fascist regime and the spectacle, watch Leni Riefenstahl's Triumph of the Will, which was a massive propaganda piece that she made for the Nazi regime. It's in black and white. And I'm not, yes, I'm telling you to watch Nazi propaganda, obviously with a critical eye, but it is extremely boring, right? Um, yeah, invalid axiom. It was, okay? And that's sort of the point, guys. You have to watch the unedited version of Triumph of the Will because fascism aims to make you all very bored, okay? It's like constant marching and constantly being surrounded by performance. Constant, okay? It's both very boring and very entertaining at the same time, keeping all your emotions on high. So anyway, watch that if you're interested. So Doug says BlackRock just capped the amount investors can withdraw, and they capped it at a measly 5%. Capping withdrawals hasn't happened since the bank runs of the 1920s. Isn't that true, Doug? I'll have to verify before I say that, Doug. I don't want to fully say that. We'll have to see if that's what happens, but that's interesting. Okay. Yay, Cody. Very glad for you. Yeah, Sir Bartholomew. Airborne canceled the training, and we're getting closer and closer to sending troops to the Middle East. I was going to talk about it after this. Okay, so here is a piece of propaganda, a piece of spectacle from the White House. Everyone ready? Everyone ready? Let's watch.
Back.
Oh yeah, that's real, Sir Bartholomew. Look at the website that's from. This is from the official White House official White House website. Did you see that, guys? That's kind of gross. I think that's kind of gross. I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit by saying that's kind of gross, but this is the kind of shit they're trying to normalize, okay? Trying to compare baseball like a home run with a bomb dropping on something, which is a very big form of propaganda, right? Trying to normalize it, trying to create the emotion of the same emotion that you get watching a home run in a baseball game for a bomb being dropped on a building. Yeah, those are missile strikes, Restore Asher. Do you see what I'm saying here? Do you see how they're trying to overlap emotions here? They want you to feel good and like powerful, just as good and powerful about a home run in a baseball game as you would about a missile strike. Like, Retro, it's really disgusting. But there you go. Hitting a home run is also called hitting a bomb. Is that true in Valid Axiom? I didn't even know that. See, this is why I should know these things. Hey, they want you to think it's badass and good, actually. Yeah, exactly, Blue Dream. It's an illusion. They're trying to create a new reality, right? They're trying to create a new reality. So, oh my God. Okay. So just be aware they are doing this mass reproduction shit and this attempt to do propaganda and to manipulate people's emotions. By the way, remember how I said before that all of this pageantry it hides reality. How is the bombing of Iran going to be helping the average MAGA person or the average American? How? Is it going to make the cost of groceries go down? No, if anything, they're going to go up. What about the cost of gas? That's probably going to go up. Is it going to make mortgages easier to pay? No. Is it going to increase taxes on the rich? No. Is it going to give anyone health care? No. So, in order to make what they're doing worth something, they have to make it aesthetic. The benefit of going to war in Iran, they're trying to make the benefit aesthetic pleasure, right? It's pleasing to watch the bombs go off because it's not going to help you in any other way. All right. Anyway, so isn't that great? Isn't that great? That's our government, guys. On a side note, yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe, Tish, maybe, all right. So, okay, there you go, right? You see what I mean? It's hiding the reality. It's hiding the reality. It's hiding the material conditions, okay? And ignoring it. Let's talk about something else here, okay? Someone mentioned this earlier. This was from Lockheed Martin. And this isn't necessary. This isn't about propaganda. I'm kind of going to a new topic here. Okay, sure, Jonas. What is it about, Jonas? Is this about? I'll watch it if it's is it relevant to what we're doing now? I just want to make
I got a lot of things going on. He said, Messi.
Okay.
I said, really, he's a big fan. He's a big fan.
What is this? Okay, so he's talking about Messi.
He said, Messi. I said, really, he's a big fan. He's a big fan of yours. He thinks you're just a great person. I think you got to meet him for a while. So he's a big soccer fan, but he's a tremendous fan of yours. And a gentleman named Ronaldo. We have Cristiano is great. You're great. Boy, some big champions, some great athletes in that sport, and people that really love what they're doing, and they're doing it.
Wait, I don't get it. Who's Ronaldo?
And it's an honor for us and everybody at the White House to be honoring you.
Wait, who's Ronaldo? I'm sorry. Oh, so they're okay. See, I'm so bad, guys. I do not know sports. So this guy is a famous okay, so they're soccer players or they're football players. Oh, that was the wrong one. God damn it, Jonas. Okay. We'll watch it.
We're destroying more of Iran's missiles and drone capability every single hour, knocking them.
Guys, look at this. So, first of all, why are these soccer players letting Trump do this to them? I don't know these soccer players, but I already don't like them. Why are they bowing to the fascists?
Out like nobody thought was possible. As soon as they set off a missile, within 4 minutes, the launcher gets hit. They don't know what's happening. But we have the greatest military anywhere in the world.
So now they're talking about
missiles are gone, launches are gone, about 60% and 64% respectively. Other than that, they're doing quite well.
Oh, so okay, so they're.
I said, what's left? But they're tough, and they want to fight.
Okay. This is stupid. Like, this is. Why are they there? I'm sorry. I'm just annoyed, guys. I know, guys. I'm annoyed though. Like, the women's team, the women's basketball team or hockey team didn't show up. Like, why are these people still showing up to meet with Trump? Is it for their own egos? I know a lot of folks out there like soccer players. I'm just saying, okay. Whoever this guy, Messi or whatever, why is he there? Why are these people going and doing the show for Trump? Okay, whatever, it's fine. Maybe it's part of their contract, but regardless, I'm being kind of mean. I'm okay. Anyway, yeah, ego and self-promotion probably, but like, why would you even show up to that? I'm really anyway. I'm just sick of it's not part of their contract. Okay, well, there you go. Why are they there? Okay. Anyway, I just okay. Yeah, the sponsors are owned by the elites too. I got you. That makes sense. Okay. Moving on though. So some things here. Thank you though, Jonas. That is interesting. This is all part of the spectacle though, guys. This is all part of the spectacle. Okay, all part of the spectacle. I've heard. Oh, he might be reactionary. Well, there you go. Yeah, like I don't know why you. Anyway, whatever. It's fine. Okay, it's whatever. Paul Squall, thank you. You know just what to say, Paul Squall. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the 100 bits. Okay, so something else here, guys. So we were talking earlier about how it's becoming very clear that bombing, you know, that no invalid accent. We're not gonna watch the PragerU video today. Maybe a different day. That bombing of that girls' school, yeah, that was probably the United States. I know, again, shocking for everyone. But look what Lockheed Martin posted. Look what Lockheed Martin posted. posted. Who, by the way, who's Lockheed Martin? Do we know? Do we know who Lockheed Martin is? Someone tell me in the chat. What is Lockheed Martin? What is Lockheed Martin? Tell me in the chat, guys. I know some of you know. There you go, LaCroix. There you go. Lockheed Martin is a big-time weapons manufacturer. Yay. Yeah, there you go, Invalid Axiom. Lockheed Martin is a freedom producer. They produce all the things that bring freedom to other countries. So here is just to show you, like, they're not even hiding it. This is from Lockheed Martin's X account, right? Because we live in the worst timeline, and now these aero defense companies, these munitions companies are, just openly posting shit like this. This is what it says on Lockheed Martin's Twitter account, which I follow because I'm a sociopath. It says, we have agreed to quadruple critical munitions production as a result of President Donald Trump's leadership. We began this work months ago with Secretary of War Hegseth and Deputy Secretary Feinberg. Oh, good for them, guys. Oh, those profits are just going to go through the roof. Here they are celebrating the massive production, okay? How dare you, Invalid Axiom? The massive production of more weapons and profits for the military-industrial complex. And by the way, beneath it, they quote a Donald Trump post, okay? This is what Donald Trump said in his post. Guys, this is the President of the United States. All right. We just concluded a very good meeting with the largest U.S. defense manufacturing companies where we discussed production and production schedules. They have agreed to quadruple production of the exquisite class weaponry in what we want to reach as rapidly as possible, the highest levels of quantity. Expansion began 3 months prior to the meeting, and plants and production of many of these weapons are already underway. We have a virtually unlimited supply of medium and upper medium grade munitions, which we are using as example in Iran, recently used in Venezuela. Regardless, however, we have also increased orders at these levels. The companies represented were the CEOs of BAE Systems, Boeing, Honeywell Aerospace, L3 Harris Missile Solutions. Dear God, imagine having a company named L3 Harris Missile Solutions. Yeah, we got a solution for a girls' school. Okay. Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon. I told you guys once how I accidentally went on a couple dates with a guy who ended up working at Raytheon that I didn't know he was working at Raytheon. Anyway, that was a terrible time in my life. The meeting, when I found out, I immediately stopped seeing him, by the way. The meeting concluded with another meeting scheduled in 2 months. States all over the country are bidding for these new plants. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh, wow. Isn't that great? Yeah. Yeah, it looks like the Pentagon's going to fail a few audits, right? So isn't that cute, guys? Don't we know that the companies own the politicians? So you can bet, guys, that one of the reasons why we're in war now is because there's a lot of pressure by these defense manufacturers who to go to war. As a matter of fact, I'm certain if we were to look up Donald Trump, I'm not going to do it now. I'm sure if we looked up who donated to Donald Trump's campaign, I'm sure there's a lot of defense contractors in there. Because, guys, I hope you know, defense contractors donate to both Republicans and Democrats. They will oftentimes donate, if there's a race between a Democrat and Republican, they will donate to both of them. Because in that case, they win no matter who gets elected. So just to be clear, the defense contractors also massively involved in bribery. All right. All right. Isn't that cute? Aren't we happy about that? Invalid Axiom just sent this. Ooh, what is this? Oh, the intro to Lord of War? Oh, yes. Yes. This is actually a good intro. I've seen this before. I don't know if I can show it. Am I allowed to show it? I don't know. Fuck it. I'll show it. I mean, frick it. I'll show it. Okay. Yeah, watch right.
There are over 550 million firearms in worldwide circulation.
Ooh.
That's one firearm for every 12 people on the planet. The only question is...
There's more than one for every American, by the way, in America.
How do we arm the other 11?
Yeah. Yeah, super underrated movie, I agree. By the way, this is based off of a real guy. Okay.
this song.
Yeah, there's like 12 for every American. By the way, this guy is based off of a real guy.
People speak their
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. I'm sorry. I don't. There's music. I don't want to get copyrighted, but yeah, there. What's the name of the guy that this is based off of? He was a Russian arms dealer. I forget his name. But he was a big time Russian arms dealer. Who I believe it was Biden actually traded him back to Russia for some. Yeah, Merchant of Death, who traded him back to Russia in exchange for some Americans or something like that. I can't remember. Regardless, yeah, he traded Griner for the WNBA player. Correct. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, great. Yeah, just don't you love the America? It's not dystopian at all over here, guys. Not dystopian at all. I love it for us. No problems here. Great country. Love spreading freedom and democracy everywhere with Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, etc. Anyway, okay, they're my best friends. Love them all. All right, putting my face back up. Putting my face back up. Oh, God, it's such a great day, isn't it? I love it so much. Happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday. You know what? It's Saturday. Let's pass out some boops, guys. Let's pass out some boops. I need to pass out some boops because Victor Boot. Thank you. Victor Boot, right? Victor Boot, I believe his name is. Ugh. Okay, Oxpecker, hello. I've hooked up with lots of ex-military, but never anyone who actively works for them, or to be best of my knowledge anyway. There's this one oil exec, though, pretty sure I spooked him with the woke shit. Oxpecker, I appreciate you, Oxpecker. Welcome to the stream, okay? I didn't know, Oxpecker, that I'm just going to call you Ox because Pecker, you know. I didn't know that this guy worked for Raytheon. He said he was a contractor, and then I think it was like the third date. He had been drinking some, and he finally said it was Raytheon, and at that point, well, I can tell this story maybe during After Dark. I think I've told it before. Anyway, but yes, Oxpecker. Okay. Who wants a boop? LaCroix gets a boop. Boop. SoCal gets a boop. Boop. Oxpecker gets a boop. Boop. Outer Signal gets a boop. Boop. Oh, Sir Bartholomew, you get a boop. Boop, boop, boop. All right. Jonas gets a boop from a distance. Boop. Blue Dream gets a boop. Boop. JDH gets a boop. Boop. Wait, why are you hitting me, guys? Why are you hitting me? That's so mean. You're gonna make me sad. I really don't give a shit, though. Who did I miss? LaCroix, I already gave you a... Yeah. Cody gets a boop. Boop. How are you feeling, Cody? You doing well? Invalid Axiom gets a boop. Boop. Body Swap gets a boop. Boop. If Body Swap is out there. I'm thinking Body Swap is. Did I miss anyone? Albitra Klasa gets a boop. Boop. Who else wants a boop? Do I need to bump anyone? You know, Tisha gets a boop. Boop. No, SoCal. Brump. SoCal gets a brump for not taking this seriously. Okay? This is serious. All right? Bad. Okay? No, I don't accept. I don't accept you. I don't accept it. All right? Doug gets a boop. Boop. Dolly Boy, you get a boop. Boop. All right. Anyone else want a boop? Anyone? You're welcome, Blue Dream. Anytime. Love having you here, Blue Dream. Meowser gets a boop. Boop. Anyone else need a boop before we continue? Anyone else need a boop? Louise gets a boop. Boop. Druzilla gets a boop. Boop. Retro Asher gets a boop. Boop. J Mac, you get a boop. Boop. My mom accidentally drove onto one of their sites, and she said they reminded her of those ancient stone tiki faces. But yes, Ox, absolutely. Yes, Ox. That's about right. They're all sociopaths. Okay, of course, Tish. All right, you guys. I don't know if I missed anyone. If I did, just tell me. I don't care. All right, so I'm going to do a little self-promotion here, guys. A little self-promotion. If you like my content, if you're over on Twitch, please subscribe or follow me, okay? It'd be very helpful. Help me do this long term. You can subscribe for free using Amazon Prime by hitting the subscribe button. That'll help send some of Jeff Bezos' money to me, and you will no longer have to see ads over on Twitch. You also can just subscribe in a regular way, in which case you'll no longer have to see ads over on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, you can also join and become a member for as little as about $1 a month. I think it's a little more than $1, like maybe $1.20. There are 3 different ranks. You can be a resistor, a rebel, or a revolutionary. Any amount will help. Thank you very much if you do. If you do join over on YouTube, you'll get access to a cute jester hat next to your name, and as well as access to cute little members-only emojis. Same over on Twitch, by the way. You can also send me buy me a coffee, which is located in the lower right your lower right-hand corner of my screen. What am I doing here? Right down there. You see that? Right down there. You can use that QR code. It's also linked in the chat on YouTube and Twitch. Or you can send me bits on Twitch or super chat over on YouTube. I basically survive, guys, on your hello Marzipan. You get a boop boop. I basically survive on donations. I get literally like no money on ads. Like no money for ads, even though there are ads. I get zero, except for on YouTube. I might get like 10 cents for ads, like nothing. So I literally almost completely survive off the donations. So anything you can do to help me would deeply appreciate it. Anyone can watch the streams, of course, but deeply appreciate anyone willing to donate. Okay, Jonas, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, for that donation there. All right. Okay. And we did make enough today, guys, for us to do. Okay, thou must simply work harder. How dare you, Sir Bartholomew? Okay. We will, by the way, later today, we are going. I'm not getting off, by the way, right now, by the way, folks. I'm sounding like I'm about to leave. I'm not. But later today, we'll have a Jester After Dark stream. Probably between 6:30 and 7:30 is when it'll start. And that'll go on for a few hours. That'll only be on Twitch because I'm going to be drinking apple cider. And I'll be doing that. Okay, maybe drinking some apple cider, and we'll be watching we'll be listening to some music together. We will be, watching a little horror, some things, or some comedy things. Sometimes we like to watch news bloopers, which are really funny. And you're right, Jonas. Forgive me. You're actually right about that. 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, that's a good point, Jonas. It'll be between 6:30 and 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much, Jonas, for that. Okay, for reminding me. Okay. So, all right. So just be aware of that. Okay, this is what we're gonna do now, folks. First of all, I'm gonna go urinate, because my bladder is screaming at me. And then I'll come back and we'll watch more together. Yay! Okay, I'll be right back, folks. I'll be right back. So, I will start. That's okay, Dolly Boy. I forgive you for not screaming at me, but I'm gonna yell at you later in private, Dolly Boy, for this disobedience to me. You didn't help me, Dolly Boy. You didn't help me. Okay. By the way, everyone, I love Dolly Boy. The more you donate to me, the meaner I am to you. Okay. So I'm very mean to Matt Saigai and Dolly Boy. Just kidding. All right, you guys. All right, guys. I'll be back. Give me 1 second. Love you all. I'll be right back. Okay, give me 1 second. Is Mayflower Kid here? Doesn't matter. I'll be right back.
In the dark haze, polarized gaze, trying to find my way to you, where the spaces can't erase this. You're the feeling that I choose. I'm tired of running, 'cause you lost the feeling. You're disconnected in your touch. Are you believing in what I'm seeing? Or did the high life get too much? It's all on you now to figure out how
Guess some people like me are just destined to fuck up everything that we mess with. If I was made as a joke, I don't get it. Missed the call, but I guess I got the message. Usually I fall too hard, I'm addicted to pain. And if the world's on fire, I'll be swimming in flames, yeah. Cause I'm too impatient to wait for change. I know I'm far from perfect, oh yeah. But I know I can make it work, I know I can make it work. I'm crazy, everybody knows my name, but I don't even know my name. Going insane, putting heavy on my brain, and I don't even know my name. It's a story about a ID crisis. Used to think my only future was the night shift. Brain on ADHD, autopilot. And through it all somehow I kept smiling. I can never find the right words to say. Only a handful of family ever sees my face. But I'm only human, don't we all make mistakes? I'm drowning in my head.
What is going on in this chat right now? There's a lot of cheeseburger and Roomba talk out there. A lot of cheeseburger and Roomba talk. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. All right, folks. So let's continue, shall we? How dare you, invalid accent? You're having fun now. Okay, you're having fun now. Okay, you're having fun now. Happy Saturday, Drizilla. Happy Saturday. You're the worst of them, Drizilla. You're the one who's always plotting and doing the whole Roomba and cheeseburger thing. You're always acting all innocent, Drizilla. You're like, I am so innocent. I didn't do anything. He. And I know, Drizilla. I know. Okay. Thanks for forcing me to have fun now, fascist. You know what? Invalid Axion? Bonk! You get a bonk. Don't make me give you a bromp. I will remove your boop from later with a bromp, okay? I'm only going to give you a bonk now, but that's your warning, okay? You're going to get a bromp. All right? All right. Now, Sir Bartholomew, okay, you're sick today. Oh my God, Drizilla, dear God, oh God, there's always something new, Drizilla, Jesus. Yeah, you're sick. Right, okay, I'm kidding. I'm sorry, Drizilla. I hope you feel better. Okay. You know what? Outer signal. Damn right, invalid accent. You'll take what you'll deserve and you'll like it. All right. All right, you guys. Hey, how dare you, Dolly Boy? Dolly Boy, I swear to God. Okay, bromp for Dolly Boy and a bonk. Bonk. Okay, guys, okay, am I going to need to put chat in timeout? I will take you off the screen. I will take you off the screen. I don't care. I will take you off the screen. Okay. Anyway, guys, let's move on. Let's move on, shall we? We have so much to talk about. So much to do. So much to do. Okay. So much to do. Okay. Do you want me to bromp you, future of the earth? What about you, Paul Squall? Okay, no, Paul Squall, you're being nice. Thank you. Okay. All right. Boo hoo, we don't care. Excuse you, Druzilla. I swear to God. Okay. Moving on. Some things to talk about, right? Some things to talk about. Still more to talk about. Now, Paleontology Dog. Are you here, Paleontology Dog? Is Paleontology Dog here? We'll see if Paleontology Dog is here. So we have a few things to watch. Yes, Paleontology Dog. Excellent. So I just wanted to make sure we have something Paleontology Dog sent for us to watch. I was going to watch part of it. We're not going to do it right away, but we will make sure to watch this in a second. We need to cheeseburger. Milton, I swear to God. Okay. We need a cheeseburger Roomba waiting screen where it spins around and bounces like the DVD logo. Oh my God, Milton, I'd lose my mind, but okay, that's fair. All right, so I'm going to put the shit we're going to be looking at back up, okay? This was sent by Paleontology. We're not going to watch this one right away. We're going to watch it. I have it pulled up already, right where Paleontology Dog told me to watch. But I just wanted to make sure Paleontology was here. I don't know why I asked if you were here, Paleontology Dog, before I watched it, but whatever. You know, it's fine. You know, we do what we can. Okay. Where is this shit? Where is this shit I was looking for? The Reacts channel, la da da da.
On September 10, 2025, in a
All right, here we go. So this was sent by someone. Oh,
There
yes.
were also
This
reports.
was sent by... Who sent this to me, guys? This is John Bolton. All right. Why is my face not on the screen? Okay. I don't know why. This was sent to me by someone. By the way, I forgot to mention this, guys. There are more... Thank you, Jonas. Okay. There are more and more indications out there that... how dare you invalid axiom? Okay. More and more indications out there that Trump is going to be launching a ground invasion of Iran. I forgot to mention this. It's kind of small. I mean, it's kind of a big thing, right? So a lot of indications there that Trump is sending more and more people over to the Middle East, more equipment. The an important American airborne division has canceled their training and is heading in that direction. There seem to be more and more indications, and as we have said from the beginning, folks, it only makes sense that you would end up having to do a ground invasion, because it's not, I mean, as I'm not saying it's a good thing, but you're not going to achieve any of the objectives you're laying out that they've laid out by just bombing the hell out of a country. So, okay, that's good, especially if you're doing unconditional surrender, which is what Trump is demanding. How the hell do you make a country unconditionally surrender unless the regime feels that it's their only option left? Right? So, okay, we'll probably end up launching a ground invasion of Iran, which will result in the death of thousands of people, both Americans and Iranians. And, we will lose. Obviously we'll lose. Iran is a massive country, much larger than Iraq, much worse terrain for fighting in, and the Iranian people are armed to the teeth and have trained for years for an invasion and to deal with to launch an insurgency. So even if we're successful initially with our ground invasion, we won't be able to occupy the country. So it just seems to me it's very likely that we are going to launch a ground invasion. I have not, Druzilla. Did you? Did you send it, Druzilla? Because we're going to watch that clip. You know what? That's the clip I was looking for. Maybe I forgot. Maybe I didn't see it. Let me check again. Because someone sent me a clip about this, and I couldn't find it when I looked at it again. Maybe I missed it. Did I miss it? Did someone send a clip about this? Was it you, Druzilla? Someone sent a clip about the boots on the ground stuff. Okay. Regardless, all right. Okay, just be aware of that. Looks very likely that we're going to have boots on the ground. I'm going to hopefully find a video about it here in a second. But before we do that, this was sent to us by Jonas. Jonas, this guy, so for those who don't know, this guy at the top is John Bolton. Now, something you have to know about American mainstream media is that American mainstream media are a bunch of monsters. So a lot of the times, even if someone is like an avowed war criminal, even if the show, like it's CNN who claims to be liberal, they will then hire like ex-officials from like the Bush administration or the Biden administration to be commentators on their shows, especially if those people don't like Trump, because they think anyone who doesn't like Trump is fundamentally a good person. So they will hire people that don't like Trump, even if they're horrible people that are war criminals. So John Bolton is often on CNN, and apparently in this clip, he is on BBC, because apparently that is, okay. Anyway, so John Bolton's a horrible war criminal who never saw a war he didn't like, probably would love nothing more to bathe in the blood of innocent Iranian civilians. He never saw a war he didn't like. The reason he got fired by Trump is that he was too hawkish for Trump initially during the first term. Now, apparently, he's probably changing his mind about that now. He's probably like, God, I should have stayed around with Trump. He's doing what I love now. So let's see what he has to say here. From what it appears that he does a whole Israel argument. Yeah, that's for sure, Paul Squaw. John Bolton being around is how you know you are the bad guy. Yep. And he's been fully legitimized by the mainstream media, especially in the United States. All right, I should say by the corporate press, by the establishment press. So, okay, let's watch.
There were also reports that military investigators believe it is likely US forces were responsible for an apparent strike on an Iranian girls' school that killed scores of children on Saturday. If that was the United States, can that be justified?
It was.
I don't think the United States, in any conceivable circumstance, would directly target a civilian structure like that. If in fact it was an American weapon that did it, it was because the weapon malfunctioned. I'm sure we will try and make recompense.
That makes it better, guys. Don't worry. It was a malfunction. So even though that is like any war, okay, let's say it was a malfunction. Okay, let's say it was a malfunction. It's possible. It's possible it was a malfunction. I don't give a shit. When you go to war, right? And I don't think it was a malfunction, but let's say it was. Okay, I don't give a shit. When you go to war, there is some percentage of every weapon that will malfunction. When you go to war and start dropping tons of bombs, some percentage of those bombs are going to malfunction, and it should be, you would know that some of them are going to kill civilians. That's just a fact. Okay? That is just a fact. So even if it was a malfunction, which I don't think it was, that doesn't excuse it. You still went to war and used bombs, some of which would malfunction. You knew that civilians would die. Okay? Even if you wage the perfect war, I guess you could say, where you aim everything correctly, some of those bombs are going to kill people. All right? So all right. The decision to go to war and drop a ton of bombs is a crime to begin with if it's okay. You see what I mean? All right. But regardless, I don't think it was a malfunction. All right. I don't think it was a malfunction. It might have been. Who knows? Okay. I don't know. But regardless.
And my advice to the Iranians in the future and anybody else is don't build girls' schools right next to naval bases.
Oh my God.
Spaces that you.
Great. Great, guys. Great. Jesus Christ. Okay. So it's the Iranians' fault to have a girls' school next to a base, I guess, according to him. All right. Yeah, no, Louise. Louise, again, the reason I'm just, guys, I hope I'm not defending the United States. I'm just saying we don't have much info yet about why it happened. Okay. Maybe it was a malfunction. Maybe it was they were aiming at a military base and they missed. Maybe they were purposely targeting the school. All these things can happen. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me though. Okay. I would, right now I'm going to assume it was purposely targeted because that's what I would think what it would be. But I'm just trying to be clear about it's still being investigated apparently. So regardless, all right, basically all military, yeah, you're right, Blue Dream. Most military bases have schools nearby. For the children of the soldiers working at the base. Okay, like that's what you do. American military bases have families, have family housing and schools nearby. Okay, they do. And this is just so dumb. I don't know what else to say about it. It's dumb. Okay. To put the onus on the victims for why. Okay. I know, right, Maria Brooks? Welcome, Maria. Maria? I'll call you Maria, okay? Yeah, it's insane to me that they're blaming the victims. It's monstrous. It's a monstrous regime. And guys, it's one thing to think this. I have no doubt that a lot of American right-wing lunatics think this. But it's another thing to, just say it out loud like John Bolton and be like, yeah, well, it was their fault for being there. Right? Like, it's the level of sociopathy and lack of empathy you'd have to say that. Okay, anyway, I'm just, all right. Monstrous. I love this country, guys. God bless America, spreading freedom with our bombs. Anyway, you know what, guys? All those civilians that died during the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, it's their fault. They shouldn't have been near that military base. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have been near that military base, Really, it was their fault that they got killed by the Japanese strafing. All those American women and children stuff, they clearly shouldn't have been near the American military base. It's their fault. All right. Anyway, so, okay. What else do we got here? Yeah, you're right. The RMS Lusitania was really to blame for the German U-boat sinking it. Really, it was their fault that happened, right? Okay. So again, we could play this game all day. I have no problem playing this game all day. Could play it all day. Okay, let's put it that way. All right. So, yes, exactly. Bright Love. Why was that girls' school out so late? Why was that girls' school dressed like that? Right. Yeah, damn boats getting in the way of torpedoes. Now, I will say, guys, another fun fact here, right? By the way, the Titanic shouldn't have been out there. That iceberg was the, it's not the icebergs. Well, whatever. I can't. That's not a good comparison. Regardless, screw it. What was I going to say here? Stop putting it. Girls' school late. Why was the girls' school? Oh yes. By the way, guys, obviously, this kind of reasoning is like Israeli reasoning, right? This is like what Israeli, I should say, the Israel government uses this kind of reasoning there you go, Maria. All these indigenous people just shouldn't have been in all these lands we wanted to steal, right? That's on them, completely, right? They shouldn't have accepted. It's the indigenous people's fault for accepting the smallpox laced blankets. They shouldn't have been so greedy. It's their fault. It's their fault for hunting on that land that we could use for farming. So, okay. But you do know that like Israel uses this kind of shit all the time, right? Like this, America is very much like Israel in like the terminology they use and the excuses they use, right? Like Israel's constantly using that same excuse. Like they were like the hospital, those patients in that hospital were human shields. It was Hamas's fault for building underneath a hospital. It was that baby's fault for being on a ventilator next to a Hamas hideout. That child that had its skull crushed was to blame for walking to school that day next to the Hamas. Like, this is the level of reasoning that we are getting now. Isn't that great? Yay for us. Love that for us. We're all stupid, though, right, folks? The government thinks we're all stupid. At least, I mean, a lot of Americans probably are. But I'm glad we aren't, right? We know that this is all bullshit, right? Okay, moving on. Let's see. So I'm going to lose my goddamn mind on this point. I'm going to lose my mind. Yeah, right, Sir Bartholomew. And guys, I hope you guys know, a lot of times when when wars like this happen with America, okay, a lot of times when wars like this happen with America, you will only hear, like, you rarely hear about the war crimes we're doing. Like, do you guys know in Iraq there was a hospital that we had? I forget the name of the aircraft. We had an aircraft with a high velocity, high fire rate Gatling gun in it that fired thousands of shots into the walls of a hospital, going around it and around it and around it, shooting it up with high velocity ammunition, killing patients, doctors, visitors. And it was also, I believe, a like international Doctors Without Borders hospital, so killed a bunch of workers. Thank you, Ed Valid Axiom. I think it was an AC-130, okay? And it turned out, and we claimed that there were insurgents in the hospital. And when this initially happened, first of all, they barely talked about it in the media. But second of all, they later, their first excuse was, well, why were the hospitals and why were the doctors in the hospitals in there with the insurgents, right? It's their fault for working at a hospital while there are insurgents there. And by the way, there was no evidence that there were ever insurgents in there. So just to be clear, if we're constantly, it is invalid axiom. To be clear, we're always in this stream, we're always going after Israel. But now that a war is broken out, we can talk about America just as much. The war crimes and the horror and things like that. Isn't that great? Yay. And I'm proud to be an American. Oh, okay. I'm sure that, all these war criminals will be held responsible, right? That's a joke. We know they won't. Anyway, Sir Bartholomew says there were soldiers in Iraq that ordered shelling on civilian targets just so they could get a promotion for taking out hiding combatants. Yep, Sir Bartholomew, 100%. 100%. And guys, in Vietnam, what is his name? The general, one of the early generals in charge of Vietnam, he made it so that the whole objective of troops on the ground was to kill as many Viet Cong as possible and count their bodies and keep lists of the number of bodies of people they were killing, because his whole calculation is we just need to kill a lot more Viet Cong than they kill of us, and over time we will win. That was literally his crappy calculation. He had been an accountant, so he literally started accounting death and trying to make sure that Americans were killing more Viet Cong. And you know what this ended up causing? There was no way to differentiate between a dead civilian and a dead Viet Cong. So American soldiers, in order to get more credit, would just start would inadvertently kill tons of civilians and then count them in with the dead Viet Cong so that their units looked better. So they would start slaughtering, indiscriminately firing into huts and being like, oh, look at this baby. There's a Viet Cong. There's a child. That's a Viet Cong. There's a young woman. That must be Viet Cong. Let's add all these up. Look, our numbers are higher than they were. Okay, so all right, yay! All right, Sir Bartholomew, don't forget about the My Lai massacre. Oh, I never will, Sir Bartholomew. I couldn't. I see it in my nightmares. So, all right, that's good. Yay! All right, moving on. So let's go on to this. This was sent to us by Paleontology Dog, and we're not going to watch the whole thing because it's 24 minutes, but Paleontology Dog did send me a particular part of it that he wanted us to watch together. All right, and I do recommend, though, guys. Maria, I love that. Maria says, when the US and Europe talk about evil regimes in the global south, that's basically like if a guy who had just burnt down an entire massive rainforest by arson went like, oh, but have you looked at that one guy in the other side of the world who lit up a lighter for a second once? I love that. Okay. Yes. Also, by the way, I was the one who sold the guy the lighter and forced him to use it. Maria, that is a brilliant comparison. You're very right, Maria. You're very right. Okay, you're very right indeed. Okay. Yes, absolutely. So true. Okay. So we're going to watch a portion of this. I recommend you guys watch the whole thing. I'm going to actually send you a link to his videos. He doesn't have that many subscribers. He has more than I do, but he doesn't have that many subscribers. You can detect the jealousy in my voice. Though he has better, I guess, videos. Anyway, rather than live streams, but I'm going to post a link to his channel. Feel free to go there if you like, if you're over on Twitch. He has a really good channel. I recommend you watch the whole video. This video is about how to be a political organizer on the ground and ways to do it better. So we're going to watch a portion that Paleontology Dog wants us to watch. So let's listen. It's called, this portion is called the lesson number 3, Talk to People and the Rainbow Coalition. So let's listen. Okay, everyone ready? Sir Bartholomew, I hate you so much. Oh my God, I hate you so much. Sir Bartholomew, okay, all right, everyone ready? Let's see what he says.
To people. And this lesson is kind of carved out of my own experience, coming of age, also being radicalized at a particular time when social media wasn't at the height that it is now. I do believe that the internet and social media are amazing tools for sharing information, bringing people together.
Yes.
Opens up all sorts of tools and processes and potentialities for solidarity. But it's also a site of censorship. It's a site of capitalism. And we don't have a liberated internet like in a post-capitalist society would. That affects a lot of things. I think about the fact that when I was in college and organizing, yes, we used Facebook to share events and other things, but a big part of how
guys, before he keeps going, the first thing you guys got to do is you need to start interacting with people who are organizing. Like, yeah, start by going to protests, start by meeting people. I got to tell you, a lot of us are always trying to look for like a guide on how to organize and get involved in politics, but most of the knowledge from that comes from experience, literally. You just got to start doing it and you learn as you go. Okay? I'm sure, I don't know if Weird Amorphous Blob is here, but Weird Amorphous Blob has done organizing, and like you will start to see the challenges and some of the things you have to do, okay, if you just start doing it. Because organizing, you have to adapt organizing to scenarios and things like that. So as long as you start doing it, you will learn through time how to better do it, what needs to be done to improve, and things like that. Now there are there are ways to do it that can be helpful, like things you can learn before starting. But I highly recommend if you just start doing it, you will start seeing and learning more. Okay, and eventually you'll be able to do it better. Experience is the best kind of learning.
Got into organizing was showing up to political meetings, having debates, canvassing, tabling, talking to people about the first protest I ever planned, which was like maybe a couple months into me being an organizer. To be a part of changing the world, we have to be able to be in community with other people. We have to be able to converse with them, engage with them. And yes, there are all sorts of barriers to that. And the internet can be a help or a barrier, just like any other tool or piece of media is. But I think in the internet age, there's a dangerous precedent of some people being radicalized into only existing politically online and not politically in their life in ways that try to push and change the material
Yeah.
conditions that they're facing. This lesson is really rooted in trying to develop a socio-political and emotional intelligence. And that intelligence can be
Yep.
such a strong tool for mobilizing and organizing people. And one of the examples that comes to mind when I think of this is obviously Fred Hampton of the Black Panther Party.
Oh, I love
and
Fred
the efforts
Hampton.
in Chicago to establish the Rainbow Coalition.
Oh my God, this is great. Who here has heard of the Rainbow Coalition? I'm curious. I bet many of you haven't, because, you know, we can't talk about black radicals in this country. That's a bit too crazy. You can only talk about the founding fathers, right? They were the most radical you can go, right? Or Martin Luther King. He's radical enough, right? So for some people, you know, he's radical for a lot of folks, I guess. But you know, so like we can't talk about Fred. So you guys know. Okay, you know. Excellent. I'm glad you guys know, because you have to understand, guys, when, you know, I know I may be giving away the game here. Fred Hampton started organizing across racial lines. He started organizing in anti-capitalist ways, and that was suddenly, that was when the state really started viewing him as a threat, which is a sign that all this cross-racial, cross-group organizing is a big threat to them, which makes sense given that they do, like, the elites and the corporate entities and the government are always trying to divide people, the right wing, based off race, based off gender, based off of sexual orientation, cis versus trans, you know, middle class versus lower middle, middle class, which is working class, and other working class people. Like, there's all these ways we get divided. And when he started trying to bridge those gaps, that's when the state really started feeling threatened. Correct, LaCroix. Correct. All right.
One day, Bob Lee said, "Hey, man, I want you to take a ride with me tonight. We got to go to this place called Uptown. I need you to be my security man."
They were poor, man. Well, I'm talking about slum. You could smell it. See, you could smell a slum.
We all went to this community meeting with the Join organization.
Panthers are here. Panthers are here. For Uptown. Okay. We come here with our hearts open. You cats supervise us, where we can be of help to you. What do you want in your community? What do you want here?
Oof.
Are you afraid of paying? You want to take berets off, man, or what?
There were a lot.
That is interesting. I've seen that video before. Do you notice how uncomfortable those guys are, right? There's some racial tension there. Okay. But I will, okay. You notice that guy's like, "Do you want us to take off the caps?" Like, he was trying to say, you know, "Are we intimidating you? Like, what do you want us to do?" But I will say this, guys, those guys in that room, they're trying, right? They decided to step over what for some of them might be an uncomfortable racial line because they're racist. Okay. That's what they've been taught for the sake of solidarity and stuff. But anyway, I've always thought that video was interesting. A lot of interesting stuff happening in that video. Okay.
A lot of suspicions about the Black Panthers, that they were gun.
And also, by the way, very brave of the Black Panthers to go into this community. Like, that could be a death sentence for some black folks at some point, right? So, like, brave. Like, I don't mean just to say the white people are being brave here or taking a step. So are the Black Panthers.
Carrying terrorists.
It was a scenario that I had never been in before. I see some guys with Confederate flag patches. I was a little concerned.
Yeah.
What we got to deal with is concept of poverty, man. We got to get rid of color things. See,
The building's not fit for dogs to live in, but humans having to pay $144 a month for the thing. They sold the building, you know, to new ownership. What we need is understanding among the people, coalition between the people to stick together, and take them owners and put them over here in the lake somewhere.
right on. Once you realize, man, that your house is funky with rats and roaches, you know, same way a black dude's house is, you know, once you realize that your brothers have been brutalized by the cops, the same way the west side and south side is, you know, once you realize that you are paying taxes for the cops to whoop your ass.
Yeah.
You're paying them. And you're paying them to kill you. Deal from there. The same things happen on the south
Bob
side.
Lee turned out to be quite an organizer.
No, guys, what we need is someone like Chuck Schumer, right? You know, Chuck Schumer would be a much better person for doing something like this, for organizing resistance, right? This guy is kind of he needs to remember civility. This is uncivil. He's speaking in a way that I don't appreciate. Yeah, don't worry, guys. Chuck Schumer will save us. Hakeem Jeffries will save us, right? This guy, I don't know. This guy's kind of scary. I don't think he's speaking in a way that I don't think will connect with the majority of Americans, right? We need more, we need to appeal to the moderates, guys. Okay, this is a joke, right? This is a joke. I love you. Oh, thank you, Invalid Axiom. Okay, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better there, Invalid Axiom. Bye bye. Okay, so obviously, guys, that's what we need, right? We need a Hakeem Jeffries type figure, not. Oh, you're right, Dubois. Forgive me. Gavin Newsom is who we really need. It's not a figure like Fred Hampton, right? It's like a milquetoast, boring Democrat that's corrupt, like Gavin Newsom, who will save the country. Not people like Fred Hampton who are working to unite the working class in opposition to the elites. No, 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 no. We can't have that. That's scary socialism. Can't have that shit. Anyway, for those who are watching who are new, I'm joking, by the way. This is exactly the kind of shit we need, all right? Anyway.
And he says, yeah, my name is Bobby Lee.
There you go. You're right, Outer Signal. Don't worry, guys. If the Democrats, remember when the Democrats kneeled for George Floyd in Congress? That's what we need. We just need the Democrats to kneel with kente cloths for 30 minutes. That'll solve the problem against the elites, right?
But my real name is Robert E. Lee. And we all laughed. We said, you got to be kidding me.
That's funny.
Who's here that want to see this thing move? Right on. But the first thing we talk about now is how we're going to organize. You know, where are we going to organize?
And, you know, we're all going to get run out of here eventually.
That was a good meeting. It was. It got everybody riled up. It was a good start to a coalition.
We worked very, very hard in the Uptown community. It was 2 weeks. We went there every day, every night.
Wow. Absolutely.
Here's a white community asking for help from the Black Panther Party, man. I knew that this was serious.
The more effective we are at bringing different parts of the community together, the more of a risk we are to the elite and the state.
100%.
You've been to any riot or police line. You don't rush the police line with just a few people. Maybe you can, depending on the tools and resources that you have. But there's always more powers in numbers when you can rush a police line with dozens, if not hundreds of.
By the way, guys, this is kind of an interesting thing I wanted to mention. Anyone here ever watch Star Trek? You know Star Trek? I know this is kind of a random thing to bring up. Star Trek. So, or like if you've ever played 40K, Warhammer 40K, you know, Warhammer 40K. So there's a faction inside of Warhammer 40K called the Tau. You have, or we can talk about Star Trek even. There's a faction inside of Star Trek called the Borg. And then there's a faction inside of 40K called the Tau. And they're not the same, but there's a similar thing about them, okay? The Borg are kind of viewed as scary in Star Trek, but the idea here is that the Borg integrate other species into their collective, and then the Borg are able to take on the knowledge and expertise of that species that they integrate, okay? In the Tau, in 40K, the Tau are an alien civilization that basically takes other species, alien species, and integrates them into the Empire, and then they use the specialty of that species for the benefit of the whole. Okay. Why am I talking about this shit? One of the things that is scary to the government about a diverse coalition, yes, notice, Louise, how the hive mind trope is viewed as scary in a lot of circumstances. It's like, oh, that's scary. Well, guys, having a coalition of people from different backgrounds, different experiences is great for innovation. If you're going to be trying to resist a regime, you want people that have a wide range of experiences, have the ability to adapt to changing situations, changing tactics and stuff. It is a scary idea for a government of having a diverse coalition of people of different backgrounds, experiences, and knowledge working together in communion, because that is a threat that is adaptable, right? And has a wide range of knowledge. It's like a lot easier to combat a united, like a single group that has very one set of ideas that don't change much. Like, let's say you have a group of white working class people who have all grown up in the same community together, all worked in the same factories, don't have as much experience in other parts of the country, right? They're going to not have the same knowledge about certain tactics they need as someone who lives in a rural area or as a black person living in another area. You see what I mean? So there is this kind of trope in our culture of like scary hive mind that is kind of a fear of elites. Now, does that mean that like Star Trek did that just to try and because they're afraid of elites? No, Star Trek is extremely progressive in a lot of ways, but isn't that interesting? You see what I mean? Because it is very dangerous to people in power to have a diverse coalition that has all sorts of knowledge and shit like that within it. I hope that makes sense. Okay, continuing.
People and really use the force. I think there's different kinds of organizers. There's people that are super into the movement work and can think of all of the different bells and whistles that help a movement or space be conscious and helpful or accessible to all different kinds of people. There are people that organize and can be down and dirty and talk to people that are from very vulnerable backgrounds or have a lot of trauma and can engage with the manifestations of like systemic traumas.
See what I mean? This is exactly what he's saying. It's kind of like the Borg or whatever, right? You integrate, that makes it sound like it's a bad thing. You integrate people's experiences into the collective, and you can use those experiences in various circumstances.
It might show up to people that make socializing or organizing together a little bit more difficult. There are also people that are really good at being the connectors or the glue in spaces, or they know a lot of people and they're able to connect this person to this person. There are other people that are really good at one-on-ones and face-to-face interactions with people. And I name all of these things because these all involve...
He didn't mention jesters. There's room for jesters in these movements, right? I hope.
Of socializing, having an emotional capacity to engage with people to some level. But there's many different versions of how I think of actually talk to people. There's the version of it where it's like you're going to meetings and organizing and people leave with action items. And there are people in the community that need to be reached out to ask questions or share information or see if you can collaborate with them. There's the actual work of reaching out to people, explaining who you are, explaining the context of the work that you're doing, your background.
Dolly boy, I swear to God.
Really being in community. And then there's the part of talking to people, which is showing up and being open, aware, receptive, someone that is a good person to be in community with.
Yes,
it makes
absolutely.
it easier for you to be someone to vouch for.
Well, guys, try to think about how you might fit in. That's so cool, Void Sonic, Diego. Try to think about where you might fit into a movement. Okay, you don't have. There's different roles in a movement. Okay,
or to connect with others, or to be a resource, especially for maybe people that are newer to a movement or space. Also very important, the importance of debrief.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, Paleontology Dog. That was great. Looks like, guys, he has the rest of this video is good too. It looks like the next section is called debriefing. It is important that after you do an act of resistance, like a protest or something, that you debrief. You get together and you talk about what went well, what went poorly, how you can do it better next time, how to adapt it to other scenarios. You need to learn from things in order to do better in the future. Okay, well done. All right, well done. Good video there. Thank you, Paleontology Dog. So, guys, we need coalitions, right, and shit like that. It's empowering. All right, guys, it's empowering. Now, let me go on. There's something else.
Take note.
This is sent to us also by Paleontology Dog. Let's watch this. This is a short. Okay. It says, if we're swinging, let's swing for the fences. All right. So let's see here. Someone, thank you, whoever just joined. This is just humor perfect, a Paleontology Dog. I kind of want a palate cleanser. So this is. Thank you, whoever just followed. Thank you very much. All right, let's watch.
Man, take note. Give women the right to vote.
And fly!
Man, take note. Give women the right to vote.
Let us fly, you cowards!
Excuse me. Huh? Excuse me, hi. What are you doing?
Same thing you're doing, fighting for women's rights.
This is a protest for women's right to vote.
Oh, I know. I just figured, while we're asking for stuff, might as well swing big and see what we can get,
You're actually advocating for women's right to fly?
Uh-huh.
I don't think you understand how rights work.
I don't think you understand how awesome it would be to fly.
The women's suffrage movement is about women having a just say in our country's elections and governance.
I know. I'm just saying it feels like a bit of a waste of an ass.
I beg your pardon?
If we as a gender are pushing to have something added to the Constitution, it should be something cool. Like all women hereby have the power to fly.
People can't fly.
Have we tried putting it in the Constitution? Then we don't really know if people can fly yet, do we? I'd argue we haven't exhausted our options on that front.
This is about feminism, women being equal to men.
I think women should be above men. Physically. In the sky, which I guess makes me a better feminist than you.
How dare
I refuse!
Oh my god, this is like lefty infighting though. Come on, guys. Come on. This is like lefty infighting 101 right here. This is exactly what you see happen on the left, right? Like, okay, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it's so true. Oh my god. I'm
Raise
triggered.
my future daughter in a world in which women cannot fly, if another such world is possible.
It's not possible!
How do you know that if it's never been legal? Legalize flying women now!
If I hear one more word out of you about women flying, I will show you the true meaning of gravity.
Oh.
We've lost our couth. Let us into the voting booth!
Telekinesis for girls! We deserve it!
Your joke!
For real? I was not expecting this amount of pushback on this.
Ladies, it's official! The 19th Amendment has been ratified!
What gives?
It is now the law of the land that women have the right to vote!
What? Great. Well, I hope you're happy. It was a real waste of an opportunity, girls. God damn it.
Aww. Oh,
There's no way they're gonna give us both.
Aww.
For the past year,
women do deserve the right to fly, guys, and have telekinesis. I agree with that. I support that. Thank you, Paleontology Dog. That was a good palate cleanser. Okay. That was a good palate cleanser. I liked it. I liked it a lot. All right. All right, guys, what time is it? Ooh, 12. Ooh, my goodness. Ooh, goodness me. It is 4:04. Okay. What was I going to do? I forget what I was going to do. Oh, yes, I remember, guys. I remember what I was going to do. First of all, I was going to say, you're all the best. You're all great. You're all great. I support women's rights and women's wrongs. Dear God. All right. So I think we all need to support women's right to fly. Okay. Can we see the other Sam now? Can we see the other Sam? What other Sam? What other Sam, Drusilla? What do you mean by that? What other? There's no other Sam. I'm the only Sam. How dare you? What do you mean the other? Okay, anyway. Right, okay. So,
Gillette trees to read.
Okay.
Fine men.
Sorry, I don't know what to say. That's why I keep doing. I don't know what to say. Okay, let's try this. Here we have. This was sent to us by. This I just thought it'd be kind of a fun one to watch for a Saturday, right, guys? By the way, it's Saturday. Yay, Saturday! Yay! La da da. Saturday is great. Saturday is great. Sorry, I'm showing my armpit. You know how gross. Gosh, where's my collar? Where the hell's my collar? I don't even have my collar on. Whatever, it's fine. Okay. All right, whatever, it's fine. What do you mean he's cheating on me? She's cheating on me. Drusilla would never cheat on me. Okay. What other Sam? I don't know who you're talking about, Drusilla. All right. So, guys. Oh my God, Sir Bartholomew, that is so cheesy. Sir Bartholomew, by the way, you get a bonk. Bonk. So do you, Dolly Boy. Bonk. You both made rude comments earlier. All right. What do you mean the other Sam? What does that mean, Drusilla? I'm trying to interpret. Is that Norwegian for something? What does that mean? Okay. Anyway, okay, bonk for both of you. All right, so, Dubois, you get a boop. I mean, you get a bonk. Bonk, shame on you, Dubois. I don't know why. I just feel like putting a shame on you, okay? Thank you, Dolly Boy. Thank you, Dolly Boy, for that contribution. Okay, thank you, Dolly Boy. After I insulted you, thank you. Thank you for empowering my insults, Dolly Boy. All right, majority report. Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, I got you. Yes, I'll have to find it, though, Drusilla. Let's see here. Let's see what he says. So we'll watch that, actually. Minority report. Sure, JD8. Bonk. You get a bonk, okay? JD, okay, don't give me that look, Dubois. Don't give me that look. Okay. Minority report. Minority Report, troops on the ground. Troops on the ground. Okay. Not Minority Report, Majority Report. Why the hell did I say Minority Report? Oh, that's a movie, isn't it? Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I've humiliated myself. Majority Report. Dear God. Okay. Isn't that a movie with, like, what's his face? The Scientologist guy. LaCroix, don't laugh at me. What's the name of that? Okay, Majority Report, Troops on the Ground. What's the name of the Scientologist guy that's in that movie? That's how I remember him, is that he's a loony Scientologist. Okay. Where is this shit? Where is this boots on the ground shit that you were talking about, Drusilla? I don't see it anywhere. I do want to watch it though. Tom Cruise. Yeah, that's right. Tom Cruise. Whatever. Tom Cruise. Okay. Dolly. Don't you dare, Dolly Boy. Okay. Yes. You know what? Where the hell is this shit? You know what? We'll just go to. Oh my God! I just touched my nose. Damn! I thought my sickness had me go. I've always been crazy. Yeah, do it, Drusilla. Find it. Okay. Do some work, Drusilla. How about that? Okay. You need to help contribute. All right. Rather than just sitting there and like being like, do this, do that. I'm Drusilla. Okay. Ridiculous. So let's see here. We got. There has to be. You know, if I just go to their videos, I'll be able to find it. Is it this one? Robert Pappy. That sounded like a slur. No, it's not a slur. Okay, whatever. Is it this one? The this one that says the Iran escalation. I think this is the one, right? The Iran escalation trap. Is that the one? Please do, Drusilla. All right. There's a lot of good-looking ones here. Who? MAGA is mutating in Iowa. What's this one? You know, while we're waiting, this looks
Secretary
fun.
of Defense.
While we're waiting for Drusilla to find that, this looks like a cute one. The most absurd CNN interview, the most absurd CNN interview you'll see today. Okay.
Defense, who refers to himself as the Secretary of War, claimed that we are not the Sow. That we are not.
Sir Bartholomew, you're disgusting. Okay. God. Thank you, Drusilla. We'll find that while we're listening to
involved in a regime change.
Oh, perfect.
If we changed the regime, according to him.
Okay.
But of course, according to Trump, we thought that he would get the I can't stand that phrase, boots on the ground, because it's actually, if we put boots on the ground, I can't stand that phrase,
oh,
boots
he doesn't
on the
like
ground,
that phrase?
it's actually human beings in the boots. I have no problem. We want to drop boots on Iran. I'm open to that. It would be good for the boot industry in this country, and it would be maybe helpful for people if we just did it.
Oh yeah, I'd support that. If we dropped a bunch of like high quality boots in Iran, helped people there, that'd be nice. It's a very mountainous country. I bet it would help people get around if we just literally drop boots on the ground. That'd be nice.
Right way. But it's humans on the ground shooting at other humans and killing other humans. If we put boots on the ground, I can't stand that phrase.
I get it. Okay, because it's like dehumanizing to say boots on the ground. I got you. Okay, that's fair. I could say we're putting troops on the ground, or we're sending in little army men to go conquer illegally and other people. I like sending a bunch of bloodthirsty. Okay, well, the Huns are invading China, that sort of thing. But like, yeah, that is their job. I don't mean like they're, yeah, it's just a figure of speech. But you are a boot, right? They're just kind of like. That's just sort of the common phrase that's used. Boots on the ground. I get the point though, but okay. I'll probably keep saying boots on the ground, but regardless, that's interesting. Thank you though, Drusilla. Okay. I think I've emphasized, guys, before that these are human beings, right? I read to you the accounts of what it's like to be in a bombing, right? So boots in the ground doesn't really capture the reality, but I can guarantee you that obviously war is hell. It's one of the worst things a person can experience, all right? Eleni, do you think Trump is so vain? he would make the USS Trump before the USS Obama. Then he deploys it, it sinks, and then there is a full scale. Oh, Elaney, yes, he probably would be that vain, to be honest. I don't know if he would be that vain. He is very vain. I will say, like, I can give you an example historically where something like that kind of did happen, kind of. So there was a city in the Soviet Union called Stalingrad that was named after Joseph Stalin. And Hitler, there you go, Sir Bartholomew, really wanted to capture Stalingrad. It was kind of unnecessary for him to capture Stalingrad, but he especially wanted to capture Stalingrad because it was named after his arch enemy, who was the leader of the Soviet Union, Stalin. So, like, he thought it would be a cool symbolic victory. Now, there was a strategic reason for it, but it was kind of stupid. Regardless, that's what he wanted to do. Stalin, on the other hand, didn't want to lose the city. Baited. Didn't want to lose the city because it was named Stalin. So he's like, we can't lose the city named after me to the Nazis. So both sides ended up fighting one of the bloodiest battles in human history in Stalingrad, with tremendous loss of life. I think something like 600,000 people died fighting in Stalingrad. It was a absolute bloodbath of unimaginable proportions. As a matter of fact, at nighttime in the city of Stalingrad, there are reports that animals would flee into the river, and like rats and dogs, even they wanted to get out of the city. So they would like flee into the river and drown themselves rather than stay in the city. Now that might be anecdotal, but it was bad. All right. And one of the reasons for this was because both of these two dictatorial leaders had very big egos, and the city was named after, because of the name of the city. Now, that is a big oversimplification. Okay. So Loiso, what I mean to say, Loiso, about the strategy thing is that Hitler's goal to take Stalingrad was to cut off the Caucasus, or the mountains, the oil-rich region of the Soviet Union from the rest of the Soviet Union. It was stupid because he sent divisions down towards the oil fields and towards Stalingrad. You don't need to do both, okay? Anyway, this is a long story we could debate. You could either take the oil fields or you can take Stalingrad to cut off the oil. I think taking Stalingrad would have been better, but the whole strategy around it was kind of stupid. Anyway, Elaney, do you think or you could go around Stalingrad, that'd be fine too. Do you think the USS Trump would have golden toilet seats and be typical of Trump? Would the military even allow him to do that? They wouldn't have a choice, Elaney. Of course they would. Okay, but anyway, so it is possible that something like that could happen with Trump. I don't really see that happening. Okay, I just don't. But anyway, I don't see him going to war over it. But maybe he would. I don't want to underestimate him. There you go, a bright love. Probably anecdotal, but it proves the point though that it was very vicious, right? Of a war. Okay. So, by the way, the Soviets ended up winning that battle, and it was absolutely disastrous for the Nazis, okay? Was definitely a major turning point of the war that the Soviets don't get credit for. Okay, so moving on. I kind of want to see what the CNN interview they're talking about is.
But we thought the Secretary of Defense, who refers to himself as the Secretary of War, claimed that we are not that we are not involved in a regime change, but we did change the regime.
Yeah, hairstyle. Hitler very much overextended. Maybe, guys, I'll do a stream sometime on the Eastern Front. I think it's absolutely fascinating, and it doesn't get talked about enough. I know way too much about the Eastern Front of World War II, so we'll maybe talk about it sometime.
According to him. But of course, according to Trump, we thought that he would get killed, but we thought that the people who were going to take over, we ended up killing them too. So we're going to see who takes over. And of course, unlike Saddam Hussein, Iran has a much sort of more entrenched structure.
Maybe, Elaney.
To their government. And while there's, I guess, the opportunity for some measure of...
Yeah, you know what, Lloyd, so that is fair. That is very fair. Okay, I will accede to that point. Okay, I will definitely accede to that point. I guess would it be better for me to reframe it as doing both at the same time was stupid? Would that be a better way of framing it? Maybe you're right that I should have framed it differently.
Organization in Iran, there wasn't like such a clear delineation of forces that were being held together by, in the way that Saddam Hussein did, where he was holding together a Sunni and a Shia, and to a lesser degree, Kurdish.
Let alone the size of the country, Iran being much larger than
Well,
Iraq.
but it's more homogenous, and it is its government is far more structured and institutionalized, I guess is the word. And so, with all that,
Okay.
here is Mark Wayne Mullen.
Oh God, Mark Wayne Mullen, guys, who's the new Secretary of Homeland Security. Okay. That thug we talked about, okay, who wanted to get into fight with the head of that union. Okay.
Coming out to say, we're not only contradicting the idea that this isn't a regime change war, but he's contradicting the idea that it's a war, but we did also have to do regime change.
Yeah, our deepest condolences to their loving family. So sad indeed. In his announcement.
Oh, pause it for
Question: do you think CNN did a segment on those girls that were killed in that school? Do you think Wolf Blitzer got on there and was like, "We feel heartfelt, deep sympathy for the death of these children that our missiles killed"? You think he did that? You think CNN did that, or Fox News did that, or MSNBC did that? Guys, I feel like I sound heartless when I say this because, yeah, those American soldiers, they're people, they died, right? Okay. It's unfortunate that, our people are being sent to die. But it also is such, I don't know. I just don't like how there are, worthy and unworthy victims, right? And apparently these little girls in the school are completely unworthy victims who America doesn't care about. They're not fully human because they're not American. Yeah, they're all worthy. Exactly, Elaney. But all right. And again, I don't like that anyone dies. I'm just saying the media just loves, like, if you touch one hair on an American soldier's head, they will cry about it for days. But the death of over 100 young girls in a school barely gets mentioned, or gets mentioned in a distant way. Like, oh, there are reports of this school being bombed, or Iran claims this school was bombed. It's just, oh, of course, Loiso. Yeah, right. And the media is about fear mongering. The media is about manufacturing consent. Okay. I've talked about this before on stream. The media apparatus is a propaganda apparatus that manufactures consent. And there's reasons for this. Even though we live in a quote-unquote democracy, it's not really a democracy, it's an oligarchy. The mainstream media does do propaganda, okay, does do propaganda. It's a different kind of propaganda than you normally would see like in an authoritarian regime, but it is still propaganda. And it's selective in what it talks about. All right. It just drives me crazy. And Wolf Blitzer, I can't stand to begin with.
a second. Was he?
And guys, can you imagine? I'm sorry, Wolf Blitzer. Guys, there's a reason why so many of the anchors on cable news are so boring. They are terrible broadcasters, right? Like, watching Wolf Blitzer is like watching, paint dry. Okay, he is a horrible anchor. That is exactly why he is on CNN. They don't want people that are going to rock the boat. They want people who are dry and boring and who don't question shit. Okay, Elaney, I will say, Elaney, there are exceptions to this, okay? A lot of them have negative risks, but can you understand, like, especially in, like, the modern media environment, it's insane that these channels are still functioning. I mean, they're not doing well. Mainstream media is losing money is like doing terribly. They're losing viewers. Only really older people only watch them, but you know, they don't want. All right. Anyway, it's shocking to me that some of these people are employed. They're just not good. They're not good journalists. They don't question politicians very hard that come on. Hell, like I bet Wolf Blitzer is barely going to question this guy. They're boring to listen to. Okay, well that's because they don't want to upset the elites by having interesting people on or to question them hard. Okay. Anyway, there you go, Maria. Make a special brigade that is just Reza. Yair Netanyahu. Yes, please. I'd love that. Just send Netanyahu in there. I'd be okay with that. Send Netanyahu with a parachute into the middle of Tehran and let him fight the war. How about that? Maybe send Trump too in there. You know, that's great. Let's do that. Love that. Send, you know, what's that lunatic's name? You know, that other, all those, you know, Hegseth and, you know, all those other lunatics over there and also in Israel that do this. Okay, anyway. Let's continue.
Referring to the families of the 100 children that were killed?
No, I guess.
There we go. Thank you, Sam. This is why I love Sam.
Just the 3 U.S. military personnel that were put in needless harm's way because we have a Mad King as president and the Israel lobby.
Yep, you're right, Loiso. It's because they represent the liberal elites. Okay, the liberal elites don't like Trump. Okay. Okay.
Wants war with Iran.
I mean, I guess if that's how much time.
Yeah, Maria, I agree. I didn't even consider that, Maria. Yes, you're talking about Pahlavi, right? I can't remember how to pronounce his name. That puppet that'll be a puppet of the United States, right? If he wants to reestablish the Shah in Iran, maybe he should do it himself. Okay.
Had to dedicate to the 3.
Oh yeah, yeah. Me too, Jonas. Okay, definitely. The outrage was definitely performative. Okay.
The American servicemen died, and you actually had.
No. So, Lainey, guys, I know I'm exaggerating a bit. There are some good anchors on CNN and MSNBC and stuff. I got to tell you. Okay. Trevor Noah isn't bad. You guys can like who you like. Okay. I don't even like Don Lemon that much. I got to tell you. I know. But they're not as bad as some other anchors. So no, I'm not a big fan of Trevor Noah, but he's better than some of the other anchors, but he's still like a liberal, loony, like he doesn't really question authority that much. Okay. He goes after Trump and so does Don Lemon, but they're not going to thank you, Eleni. That's the phrase. I didn't want to say that, Eleni, to not offend anyone. Yeah, Oxpecker, they are libbed up. Okay, they're very libbed up. Now, I mean, I appreciate some of the things they do, but okay. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Okay, let's put it that way. Right. But it is interesting. After Don Lemon has left CNN, he's gotten better a little bit, not much. But that also shows you how, like, if you leave those networks, you have a little more freedom to say shit. He's still not good, in my opinion. Okay. Yeah, he's a prude. Yeah, Jonas, it is. They're a bit better than some of the anchors, but they're still not my cup of tea. All right. Let's see here. You said, okay, Maria, Rez Pahlavi, the Rizless. I think there would be more popular sport by Iranians in Iran for a random literal critter found in the Dashka. Maria, you need to come back here more often. This is great. We all like Maria, right? Maria, you should be dressed as a jester. This is great, okay? Like, that's a compliment. The 50 pro-monarchists out there have less political clout than the Californian independents. But Maria, haven't you seen the pro-Pahlavi protests? Clearly, all the Iranian people want is freedom. They want the freedom of being ruled by another Shah. Haven't you seen that? Haven't you seen the protests in Los Angeles? Oh! You get the joke there, Maria, right? You get the joke there. Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. All right. By the way, a lot of the possible more left-leaning, secular, some of the more secular-leaning, I guess, left-leaning figures in Iran that could take over the government are being killed by the Israeli bombing. Okay. Like, they clearly don't want anyway, moving on. We'll continue this. Okay, I'm getting caught up here. Maria says, breaking, Cyrus the Great has come back from the dead simply to give Reza Pahlavi the title Reza the Rizless. Yep. Only immediately to go back to being dead. He says, I don't know who the F this weird-looking dude is, but I definitely can say he's Rizless. Right. Hey, Cyrus did have a lot of Riz, okay? Cyrus had that great beard, all right, that great hat and stuff like that. Gotta love Cyrus the Great. Also, very... very ahead of his time. Anyway, regardless, okay. Moving on.
To like dedicate a proportionate, similar amount of time to all the human lives who have died in this, you'd never be able to get through the broadcast. So you got to make a choice.
You say thoughts and prayers, or TP for short.
You got to make a choice. What are you going to do?
Indeed. In his announcement, our deepest condolences to their loving family. So sad indeed. In his announcement about this
Eleni says, if you were elected the Ayatollah, what would you do on your first day to make sure you don't get yeeted? I don't know if I'd want to say that, Eleni. I would not. Let's put it this way. I don't even really want to put out it's a good question, Eleni. I don't even want to put out in the world. I want them to decide. I want the Iranians to decide what they want to do. It's their country. They can decide it. I mean, but that's a good question though. Like, will they even be able to have a leader with that won't get killed? If I were the chosen as the next leader of Iran, I don't think it would really matter what I did. I'd probably be killed almost immediately anyway, because Israel wants instability in Iran, right? I will say there's a lot of people who keep saying that this war is about regime change, and it may have, I don't know if I fully buy that. I think it's about destroying Iran and destabilizing it in a way where it can't really ever function again. Which might mean regime change, but it definitely won't be a very functional regime, because Israel doesn't want any challenges in the region to its hegemony. It doesn't really want a stable regime in Iran, right? It doesn't want a stable regime in Iran. Why do you think it tried to kill the assembly of experts, and it may have succeeded in trying in order to who are in charge of electing the next supreme leader and shit, right? I mean, I don't know what else you would say apart from it's just trying to destabilize it. And yeah, it's all about wanting to establish greater Israel and weakening Iran in that regard. Okay. Anyway, but we can go on here. Let's see what he's saying.
Military operation, President Trump warned Americans to prepare for possible troop deaths. If this war drags on for weeks or longer, for that matter, and U.S. casualties mount, are you confident that the American public will consider this a noble mission and tolerate growing U.S. military losses?
Well, first of all, I'm going to push back. This isn't a war. We haven't declared war on Iran. We're not at war with the Iranian people. We had to remove a murder.
Wait. Did he just say we're not at war? Are we still going with that? Are there? Okay, I got to hear that again. Forgive me. Are we still doing the whole Putin special military operation shit? Okay, good. By the way, this was just sent to me by Maria. This is good. I like this. Here's a meme. So this is Cyrus the Great, okay, who was a really great leader was a powerful, important leader of the Persian Empire. This is a great meme. Breaking: Cyrus the Great gives Reza Pahlavi the title of the Rizless. I don't know who this dude is, but I definitely can say he's Rizless. Absolutely. Okay. Hilarious. All right. So did he just say that this isn't a war? I need to hear that
The
again.
Iranian people. We had to remove a murderous regime that's been attacking the United States for 47 years. Him and his murderous thugs have killed thousands and murdered thousands of Americans for literally 47 years. You heard the president.
Don't worry, guys. America hasn't murdered thousands. No, not at all. We haven't done that. Israel hasn't murdered thousands. Don't worry. Nothing is happening in Gaza. Don't worry. We didn't kill hundreds of thousands of people in Iraq. Don't worry, we haven't been killing Iranian scientists and civilians for ages. Same thing with Israel. Don't worry, guys. We've been completely peaceful and haven't killed anyone. Our government is perfect and angelic and never does anything wrong. Oh, say, can you see? By the way, funny story there. Within our very national anthem is reference to bombs exploding. Honestly, that fits us pretty well, right? Probably best we do talk about bombs in our national anthem, because that seems to be very representative of the American government. Gotta love dropping bombs everywhere. So, of course, though, the Iranians, why are subsequent deaths caused by instability not part? There you go, Jonas. You're right. That's a fair point. That doesn't even include the deaths caused by the instability of the American invasion of Iraq. So we could include deaths by ISIS as part of that number. Okay. We could, anyway, there's a lot of things we can include in that, in those death numbers, right? Great. So just to be clear, this talk of a murderous regime in Iran, kind of missing some things about it, kind of pot calling the kettle black, except the pot is blacker than the kettle. Okay, that sounded racist. You know what I mean. I'm not talking about black people. You see what you get what I mean. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Anyway. How dare you, Sir Bartholomew? Okay. All right.
Announcement. He went through all the attacks that they've had through multiple presidents, and the straw that I would say that broke the camel's back, or the final straw, is we're never going to allow the #1 world sponsor of terror to be.
As I've said before, folks, what is the government that is the government that is the #1 sponsor, the #1 terrorist state in the world? Okay, I totally agree, Maria. The #1, yeah, I know, right, Miro? 100%. The #1 sponsor of terror in the world, when it comes to governments, guys, do we know who it is? It is these United States of America. We have the biggest terrorist regime on the planet. Yes, drone strikes all over the world and the killing of children and the bombing of homes and shit like that are all acts of terrorism. They're state terrorism, but they're terrorism. The funding of right-wing militants in Latin America who kill indigenous people and overthrow governments to install far-right regimes is terrorism. The overthrow of Mossadegh in Iran all those years ago was terrorism. We have a big terrorist state. We are one of the most terroristic states in the world. Just to be clear, same with Israel. Two of the biggest terrorist states in the world, and yet we never seem to see that. We're always the heroes, according to us. Everyone else are the terrorists. The CIA is basically a giant terrorist organization. That's also not really an exaggeration. They literally did like classic terrorist attacks in Cuba, and all across Latin America, like literally blowing up buildings and shit, trying to cause chaos. Not even a joke there. Okay, okay. Biggest terrorist states in the world. I'll probably be demonetized for saying that. I don't give a shit. Whatever. Screw it. It is the United States and Israel. All right. Just to be honest with you. If you wanted me to give you an example here, guys, there were 2 9/11s in the world. There was the 9/11 that happened at the World Trade Center. And literally, there was another 9/11 that happened on September 11th, a few years before 9/11. And that was when America sponsored the overthrow of Salvador Allende in Chile. We supported a military overthrow by Augusto Pinochet of Salvador Allende, and we helped him kill the socialist leader, or the slightly left-wing leader of Chile, and allow this dictator to take over because we preferred him. And he decided to disappear thousands of Chileans afterwards, throw them into camps and kill them. So, hey, yeah, 9/11 was bad. It really was. That the people that died in those towers were innocent victims, but the United States literally did their own 9/11. Okay, did their own 9/11, literally, but no one talks about it. There you go, Maria. All right. Yeah. Oh, say, can you see? Right, Lois. So, oh, fuck, you can't see anything? Well, we shouldn't have directly dropped that nuke we dropped on you. There we go. All right.
Be able to get a nuclear weapon. There was no doubt that they were building delivery systems to affect our interest and our assets all around that region. There's no question they were trying to develop a weapon that would reach the United States, and in that case, it wouldn't have been a matter of.
Oh my God, no. It doesn't. Okay, no, first of all, no, they don't have any missiles that can reach the United States. And let's say they were developing those missiles. Do you really blame them? Okay, the one thing that would stop America and Israel from constantly bombing them, they might feel a little bit safer if they had a nuclear weapon. Now, I will say, though, the last supreme leader of Iran, the late supreme leader of Iran, actually issued a fatwa saying that it was against Islamic principles to develop a nuclear weapon. That doesn't necessarily mean they don't want one, but it just goes to show you it might be a little bit blown out of proportion how much they desired one. Regardless, you know what makes people not want a nuke is deterrence. If they don't want to be bombed anymore, if they don't want to be concerned about regime change, they might develop a nuke. So maybe if we stopped bombing them, killing them, surrounding them with American military bases, and making comments like we should overthrow the regime of Iran, that might make it easier for them to not want to develop nuclear weapons, okay?
If it'd be a matter of when. And so after 9/11...
Yeah, and that's a good point, Oxpecker. Who else shouldn't have nuclear weapons? Well, first of all, the biggest threat to regional stability in the Middle East, which is Israel. Israel shouldn't have nuclear weapons. Can you imagine how insane it is that we've let Israel have nuclear weapons? They are a threat to global security. Like, if anyone was to use a nuke, I'd imagine it'd be Israel, okay? Probably against a hospital full of babies or something. If there was a government in the world operated entirely by babies and toddlers, that'd probably be like the first government that Israel would nuke because they love dead children, apparently. And so, they shouldn't have nukes, and neither should the United States, really. Also a big threat. The only country in history that has used nukes would be the United States, by the way.
Had a resolve that said we will never do this again, meaning never again. We'll never be caught flat-footed. We're going to be proactive and go after those that threaten us. And President Trump finally had the backbone that other presidents haven't to finally try diplomacy by saying you're not going to get a nuclear weapon. We're not going to negotiate with you. We're not going.
But I thought we destroyed the nuclear weapons. Remember that strike a few months ago, guys? I thought we had destroyed all the nuclear weapons. Okay? Yeah, absolutely, LaQual. They do have a contingency plan. And I think I have said this before, and I shouldn't say it on stream. I don't think I can say it on stream. Let's put it this way. If there's one place I think America should spread freedom and democracy to, maybe it would be Israel, okay? I'm just saying it would be legal according to international law. When a state is carrying out a genocide, you have a legal obligation to act to prevent that state from carrying out that genocide if the international community would agree to it. I am just saying, I don't mean to, never mind. Someone's going to be like, you're anti-Semitic or something, okay? Anyway, regardless, some of the best anti-Zionists in the world are Jewish, so it has nothing to do with being Jewish. The state of Israel is a threat to the world. It is.
Allow you to enrich because you can't be trusted. You're not going to have the nuclear capability. And if you do, then you're going to pay the ultimate price. So,
okay.
I mean, there's so many lies in there. It's packed in there. But I love the idea of just like Wolf Blitzer saying, what if this war drags on? Dude, this war is not dragging on.
Yeah.
We are engaged in it. The moment if we stop and we say, we're done bombing you, how long will it take for the Iranians to stop bombing? I mean, it's just absurd. It's just absurd. And I will say, the difference between this and Iraq.
Exactly, Eleni. Norman Finkelstein is anti-Semitic, according to Rabbi Shmuley. I got to tell you, I cannot stand that man. I see his face and I feel sick to my stomach. I hate Rabbi Shmuley. Really disgusting human being. Norman Finkelstein is an amazing man, okay? Hero of mine. By the way, he was in the Epstein files, but in the Epstein files, there was basically someone sent a message to him was trying to defend Epstein, and Finkelstein responded in a very badass way and was like, if your child was being targeted by this man, he basically refused to participate. He refused to defend Epstein or say anything positive about Epstein or meet with Epstein. So Norman Finkelstein's, there were some Zionists out there who are like, look, he's in the Epstein files. But in the Epstein files, he was actually the one person that was like, no, right? Yeah. Yes, Jonas. He said he actually CC'd. He actually forwarded a message to the wife and daughter of a man who had been associated with Epstein. He's a badass. Let's put it that way. Finkelstein is a badass. All right. Okay. So, all right. Anyway, but regardless, Rabbi Shmuley is disgusting and I can't stand him. Okay.
Is how naked this stuff seems. Because, with Iraq, they took a couple of years and they...
What do you mean, Ox? What are you referring to?
Built brick by brick.
Yeah, Laney.
They manufactured this consent and not the least which helped by the shock that many Americans were in the wake of 9/11. But this just seems so naked. They're just out there with their asses showing, and it just seems like a joke. Wolf Blitzer looks like a joke interviewing this guy.
Of course, but guys, that's like most of the mainstream media folks. Okay?
There's not even, you can't even pretend, there's no, you can't even pretend.
By the way, Sam Cedar is Jewish, okay? And he's massively anti-Zionist, okay? Anyway, just Anyway,
And
I know you guys know that. Okay.
this is real. It's absurd.
Yeah, I mean, but they're appealing to a core constituency of viewers that is still the most pro-Israel or, you know, more sympathetic to arguments like this, which is basically if
they say to us they're standing down before telling Iranians, so when they continue firing, it looks like we have permission to keep. Oh, that actually is very possible, Pecker. Yeah, that's very possible. Right? That sounds like an Israeli kind of move, right? That sounds like what the Israelis would do, right? That's what they have done before.
older than 65. And like anybody that is already dragging down public opinion about this war isn't really watching as much. But like,
except they've been around for 47 years.
I know.
As this like war that we've been engaged in with Iran, and they're
oh
like,
my God, I love the Mass Effect reference. I love that so much, guys. You have so many good references today. Thank you, Pecker, for that reference there. Okay. Rabbi Shapiro is considered anti-Semitic. The man is a rabbi. Yeah, I know. It's so stupid, Jonas. It's so stupid. And like, it's so obvious too. It is so obvious. So goddamn obvious. When you say that a rabbi is anti-Semitic because he is anti-Israel, but like, I just don't, okay. It blows my mind, but okay.
Wait, what?
Well, Matt Duss made this point. By this definition of war, Pearl Harbor was not considered an act of war by the Japanese.
The Japanese should be like, "What do you mean we're at war? We just needed to deal with a threat."
It was just a targeted strike.
Boats. Never mind the leader of your country.
Why are you acting so messed up? We're just, doing police stuff.
I mean, listen to targeted strike versus Iran attack. Notice some of these ways that in.
I love Emma. If I were straight, I would marry Emma Vigland. Okay, if I were straight. Alas, I am not. Regardless, Emma Vigland is an angel. I love Emma Vigland. All the straight guys out there, really, you need to find a lady like Emma Vigland out there. Great lady. Okay, great lady. They asked Norm to go to the island and he threatened it. Yes, that's what it was, Sylvie. Norm asked, Epstein basically asked Norm Finkelstein to go to Epstein's island, and he said that he would choke them to death. If he had been the father or something of one of the girls that had been assaulted, he would have basically strangled them to death. Norm is such a badass. Norm is such a badass. I will say, I love Norm. They don't exist, LaCroix. Correct. They don't exist. Bi people don't exist. I'm joking, guys. Bi people will exist. This is just a joke in my community because I accidentally forgot to include bi people once when I was making a statement. So now it's become a big thing that bi people don't exist, but they definitely exist, LaCroix. Okay. Just that you don't exist. Yeah. No. Are you bi, Marzipan Power? Bi people don't exist. Okay. I refuse to acknowledge their existence. Okay. They do exist. I'm just jealous, guys, because bi people get the whole buffet, right? I'm like, I just get the salad bar, right? I just get the salad bar, but the bi people get the salad bar and the main, and the rest of the course or whatever. Okay, because this is very objectifying. What am I doing? People are not food. People are not food on a buffet. Okay, JDH, you don't exist, JDH. Okay, yes, no, I agree, Jonas. The way he roasts. Absolutely, Jonas. Like when Finkelstein slowly dismantles people. Now, sometimes he talks a bit too slow, but he is very good at that. Yeah. Like when he was debating, what was that guy's name? The historian, the Israeli historian. He slowly dismantled him, and it was quite lovely to watch. I loved it very much. Okay, I loved it very much. All right, guys. Did I miss anything here? Okay. Ooh, we'll finish this real fast.
That language is used in the Western press to communicate this kind of thing, because by any objective standard of war and war crimes, the United States has committed an egregious, offensive, illegal act of war, killing.
Guys, who cares though about international law? Apparently, okay. Who cares about international law? I mean, this is the United States of America. Okay, we're special. We don't have to listen to that shit. Okay, what's international law? Okay, I don't even know what that is. That's too many syllables for most members of Congress. Anyway, Jonas, I thought who said that? I'm sorry, Sylvie. Bi people are just closeted pan people. No, they don't exist. They're not real. I refuse to acknowledge their existence, and I will continue to bully. I'm gonna be a biphobe. I'm starting my biphobe era. Is that a thing? What is it called? Biphobia? I don't know. I am officially a biphobe, everyone. Okay, by the way, no one clipped that. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right. Geneva. Yeah, right. There you go, Eleni. It's the Geneva Suggestion, not the Geneva Convention. All right. Oh, let's watch this. Okay, so this, Jonas, let's do this. Let's not finish that. Here we have TRT World, which I think is Turkish, right? By erasure. No, you can't erase that which already doesn't exist, Sylvie. Okay, I know. Yeah, look at all this bi, pan, infighting in chat here. Okay, I'll stop. I'm just kidding. I love my bi. What is it called? Brothers, sisters, and they, thems out there. Okay, anyway, love you all. You're all the best. All right. Let's watch this. This is sent for us by Jonas. Yeah, I know. I get that, Loisa, okay? I get that. All right, so let's watch. Let's watch this guy say, Rabbi Shapiro calls Zionism intellectually absurd. Let's watch.
Zionism is intellectually absurd. It's
By the way, I wish I could grow a beard like him.
Logically incoherent, and it needs to be exposed for that. For example, this absurd, insane idea that Israel is the only safe place for Jews in the world.
As I said before, guys, the most anti-Semitic state in the world and the state that is worst for Jews in the world is Israel, 100%. Because the state of Israel is always conflating, conflating. Yeah, it is, Sylvie, is always conflating Jews with Israel and trying to make people equate the two things. Second of all, a lot of Zionists, especially Christian Zionists, are anti-Semitic. They think that the Jews should return to the Holy Land so that the apocalypse can kick off and most of the Jews could be thrown into hell. So, a very anti-Semitic belief for a lot of people, all right?
That's crazy. Israel is the least safest.
Oh, you're right. He does have a lovely smile, Jonas. I agree.
Place for Jews. I live here in the United States of America. I don't run into bomb shelters.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys in the Epstein files. Actually, there are accounts of Ehud Barak talking about how basically dark-skinned Jewish people are inferior to European Jewish people. They're open, like in the Epstein files, it's talked about, like there is racism amongst Israelis, obviously. They don't view black Israelis as equal as, anyway, it's all very stupid, okay? It's a very racist apartheid state, okay?
Siren goes off. I'm not evacuated from the south of Queens into the north of Queens, or from the north of Queens to the south of Queens because of rockets. Yeah. Those guys are, and they think they're safe.
Yep.
They need to be deprogrammed.
That's just, yeah, that's so true. He's right. Okay, you mean how they were chemically castrated? Yes. Yeah, Jonas, that's, I forgot about that, but that's a good point, all right? Okay, guys, I'm going to put my face up here. Well, guys, yay. Did we all have a good time? Tell me in chat, do we have a good time? Are we super overjoyed about the state of the world? Yay for us, yay. Oh my God, my makeup. Look at those lines on my forehead. I'm getting so old. You can see the lines on my forehead from where anyway, regardless. What was I going to say? Okay, first of all, I need to hand out some boops. Let's hand out some boops before, we move on here. Let's hand out some boops. LaQual, you get a boop. Boop. Sir Bartholomew, I reluctantly give you a boop, Sir Bartholomew. You've been naughty today. You've said some disobedient things, and how dare you not obey the cult leader, Sir Bartholomew? Fine, you get a boop, but a very tepid boop for Sir Bartholomew. Boop. All right. Jonas gets a boop from a distance. Boop. Loiso gets a boop. Boop. Drusilla gets a boop. Boop. Who else wants a boop? You want more boops? Damn right, Sir Bartholomew. Damn right. Okay. Eleni gets a boop. Boop. Drusilla gets a boop. Boop. Outer Signal gets a boop. Boop. Sir Bartholomew, I was going to send you to CCOT. Okay. Anyway. Sylvie gets a boop. Boop. JDH gets a boop. Boop. If a bi person can receive a boop since they're not real. Pecker, you get a boop. Boop. I really want to make a joke because your name is Pecker. I won't do it though. I won't do it. I'm trying to be more respectable as a streamer. I'm trying to be more respectable as a streamer and not make a joke about your name. Okay. Who else? Marzipan Power gets a boop. Boop. Le Croix Bois gets a boop. Boop. Who else wants a boop? Did I miss anyone? Did I miss anyone who wants a boop? I feel like I missed someone. I must have missed someone, right? Paleontology Paleontology Dog, I forgot about you. Paleontology Dog gets a boop. Boop. Actually, you get two because you gave us several videos today. boop. There you go, paleontology dog. Did I miss anyone? I missed our new some of our new folks, I believe. And there was a new person. There was a new person I missed, I think. Maria gets a boop. Boop. Anyone else want a boop? I think I got everyone who wanted a boop, right? Louise gets a boop. Boop. There, Lois. So you said it for me. I was gonna say it won't be the first time I've booped a pecker, but anyway, that that sounded inappropriate. Oops, I already said it. Too late now. Okay. Dolly, did I give you a? I think I did. Invalid axiom. Who's gone? Okay, whatever. You don't get one. All right, whatever. Okay, guys. So, Sir Bartholomew, I know it's not after dark, guys. That was just a sampling of the many things. Sorry, Drusilla. Sorry. I didn't mean to say it. I just couldn't help it. You guys know I have a problem. I have a problem. I can't help it. I have a dirty mind. I'm sorry. Do I look innocent now? Do you forgive me? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it. Ooh, I'm so cute. Look at me. Hee hee hee. Nothing to be worried about. Okay, so guys, later we will have a jester after dark tonight, okay? A jester after dark tonight. You know how like armadillos, they roll up into a ball to protect themselves? I become cute. I like being like, hee hee hee, look, I'm so cute. You can't be mad at me. Anyway, and with the bells, it makes it better. Regardless, guys, so what we're gonna have how dare you, Jonas? Jonas says apologizing like that just makes you look more like a degenerate. Jonas, how dare you? Jonas gets a bonk. Bonk. Jonas. All right. Okay. You're right, though, Jonas. Okay. So, guys, let's put it this way. We're going to have a jester after dark today, okay? We're going to have a jester after dark. So please come back between 6:30 and 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have a jester after dark session. It'll also come on sometime between there, and then we'll be on for a few hours. The Jester After Darks are only on Twitch, okay? They're only on Twitch. So make sure you come to Twitch. We typically during Jester After Dark, I will be drinking some apple cider, and we will be listening to music from all around the world because we have people in here from all around the world. So people will be sharing their music. We'll be drinking some apple cider. And when we'll chat about some things, maybe watch some silly videos, some funny videos, whatever else. It's a whole thing. We'll be chatting about stuff I can't chat about normally because we'll only be on Twitch, etc. You see what I mean? So anyway, please join us for Jester After Dark, okay? And on that note, folks, I'm going to go. Why'd he do the air cat? Shut up, Loiso! Bad Loiso. Okay, moving on. So I'm going to do my goodbye. Everyone ready for this? You all know what I'm about to say, don't you? You all know what I'm about to say. First of all, free Palestine. Free Palestine. Also, free Sudan, free Ukraine, and free Iran at this point, okay? Secondly, never stop resisting. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. That includes when you watch me. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. See what other people are saying. Don't get caught in an information silo because the easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves, folks. We're living in a fascist moment in this country. Fascism thrives in an environment where people have lost faith in their democratic institutions because it's no longer providing them the things they need. We need major reforms in this country. We need major change. You cannot stand in the center. If you stand in the center, the fascists will walk all over you. Okay, don't stand in the center. Resist, fight back. On the wall behind me is a sword. It's been passed down in my family for many years. The name of that sword is Chainbreaker. Chainbreaker is thought to have been responsible for the death of 7 slave owners. It is from the American Civil War. It is real, by the way. Why do I have it back there? I have it back there to remind everyone that our ancestors made some major sacrifices for some of the things we have today, sometimes even putting their lives on the line and resisting in very powerful ways, okay? We cannot let their sacrifice go to waste, folks. Please, please, please do not let our ancestors' sacrifices go to waste, and always, 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 always fight for a better future. And on that on that point, folks, you all have a lovely rest of your Saturday. For those that I'm not going to see again, if I am going to see you again, remember you should come back here keep an eye out between 6:30 and 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Jester After Dark experience, right? Ooh, all right. Love you all very much. Enjoy your time away from me. I'm sure you will. Bye-bye.